Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening. Venerable the Blade smiled. You are very welcome. I couldn't have sat around while the wild beasts were murdering people of my own kind. The mayor was in a great mood. The situation would improve with a legendary battle pet warrior around. The mayor had yet to realize that the Beast King belonged to Venerable the Blade and was still under the conviction that a legendary battle pet warrior was there. The mayor was grateful, even though he believed that Venerable the Blade's presence was merely icing on the cake at that point. I believe that my partner can take care of the 2 wild beast kings. I wonder, how are the other places doing, sir? Venerable the Blade asked. The mayor was still searching for that legendary battle pet warrior when he heard the surprising words. Your partner? Have you come with a legendary battle pet warrior? It wasn't strange for Venerable the Blade to arrive with a legendary battle pet warrior. Venerable the Blade noticed the misunderstanding. He chuckled. I'm here by myself. The partner I'm referring to is the swamp war crocodile. The mayor was dumbstruck. That vicious beast king belongs to Venerable the Blade? The mayor was well aware of Venerable the Blade's fame and the fact that he was working for a legendary battle pet warrior. There was a great chance that he would reach the legendary rank at some point. But the mayor had not heard about him already having a beast king. Sir, have you reached the legendary rank? The mayor could not help but speak with more respect. Venerable the Blade found it amusing that the mayor would become so timid all of a sudden and was gloating inside. Venerable the Blade had already been in a great mood after he had gotten the Beast King from Su King. The charm of the Beast King had left him in an even better mood. The mayor was also at the peak of the titled rank and was the governor of a city. In theory, the mayor enjoyed a higher status than Venerable the Blade, but the former was holding the latter in awe. That had to be one of the perks of the legendary rank. Venerable the Blade was even more eager to reach the legendary rank. Sir, you have misunderstood. I haven't reached the legendary rank. A friend of mine gave me this battle pet. The mayor? Given to you? The mayor stared at Venerable the Blade in a daze. The mayor noticed that Venerable the Blade didn't seem much different from before. He had to be telling the truth about not having reached the legendary rank yet. But that was a beast king. Who would give away a beast king? Not to mention such a vicious beast king. A legendary battle pet warrior might want to give away a weak beast king that he or she no longer needed, but certainly not one that was this powerful. If the said legendary battle pet warrior no longer needed that crocodile, how powerful would the other battle pets have to be? The mayor found it scary to even just think about it. Congratulations, sir. Venerable the Blade laughed. He changed the topic back to the pressing matter at hand. Sir, how are the other places doing? Any more beast kings? The mayor shook his head. Not that we know of for the time being. Sir, thank you for your great gesture. The people of the Henshin base city will never forget your kindness. Even though Venerable the Blade turned out not being at the legendary rank, the mayor was still speaking with respect. After all, with such a terrifying beast king, Venerable the Blade would no longer be viewed as a common titled battle pet warrior at the peak. Venerable the Blade was relieved. Good. I managed to arrive on time. Sir, you don't have to thank me. As a matter of fact, my friend wished that I would come and help. You can thank him instead. I wouldn't have been of much use without the beast king he gave me, even if I had come. The mayor asked, and your friend is? He's an interesting and strange guy. He lives in the Longjiang base city and runs a place called Pixie Pet Store there. He goes by the name of Su King, a legend who claims that he's not a legendary battle pet warrior. I wonder if you've heard of him. He's the one who killed a legendary battle pet warrior during the Supremacy League. Venerable the Blade believed the mayor had surely heard about that shocking piece of news. Him? The mayor was stunned. Of course, he would have paid attention to a grand event like the Supremacy League and heard about the sensational happenings. First, the old man of the King family had stepped out and revealed that he was in fact at the legendary rank. Then, a mysterious man with little to no background went out and killed him. Many people knew that. Venerable the Blade's vicious beast king had been given to him by that guy. He also told Venerable the Blade to go there and help. It seemed that the violent guy was not that cruel after all. I will pay a visit and thank him in person, the mayor said sincerely. Let's take care of the Hancheng base city first. My friend doesn't care that much about formalities. The mayor nodded. He told his generals to work together with the swamp war crocodile and drive away the wild beasts. The swamp war crocodile produced quick results. Venerable the Blade didn't even step in. He wasn't familiar with the Beast King yet, so he was afraid he might hinder the Beast King if he were to give him proper instructions. Soon after, the crisis looming in the east was resolved. The Mall Beast King ran away and the Swamp War Crocodile killed the other Beast King. The wild beasts fled in a hurry. The mayor didn't order a pursuit. He saved strength so that the other sides could be helped. That night, the news said that the Hancheng base city had succeeded. People cheered. The burden had been lifted. Venerable the Blade's face was seen on all the official TV channels of the Hancheng base city. People applauded and thanked him. Pixie Pet Store. Longjiang base city. Su King was still training pets, day in and day out. He would eat in the cultivation sites if he got hungry, he would also take a nap there if he felt sleepy. Every time he returned to the store, he would merely take another batch of pets before he left for the cultivation sites again. He trained dragons in dragon realms and picked up some pet food that dragons liked. He ingested some mysterious herbs in the cultivation sites. Some got him killed and some strengthened him. Dragons weren't his only focus. He visited various realms of different elements to train the pets of the element families. In realms of fire, he trained pets of both the fire family and the ice family alike. The former could pick up new skills of the fire family and collect more fire energy while the latter could become more resistant to fire and might even mutate. One of the pets of the fire family had mutated. The pet could use skills of both the fire and ice families and even its appearance had changed. The pet's combat strength had increased drastically. In addition to the realms of fire, Su King visited realms of thunder and ice, all of them were cultivation sites of middle rank. Su King gained a lot in the realms of thunder. He was exploring while training the pets. He encountered a mysterious zone of thunder and lightning. It helped him gain more understanding of the rules of thunder in his battle against Beast Kings. He could even simulate some legendary skills of the legendary rank. He had also collected much food liked by pets of the thunder family. Time flew. 10 days passed. By the time Su King ended the training, 13 days had passed ever since the strike on the Longjiang base city. In the 2 weeks or so, the Longjiang base city had gradually stepped out from the shadows cast by the war. The base city was gaining back its vitality and becoming even more lively than before. Stores were reopening. After all, people would have to make money to make ends meet. The underground railways were in operation again, so that people in the Longjiang base city could go out for supplies and powerful battle pet warriors could go to the Longjiang base city again. The Longjiang base city's economy was recovering. Chapter 542. Reaching the 9th rank, the local forces were surprised about the many outside factions that were swarming in. The former learned that the foreign representatives were there to ask about someone, immediately understanding why the latter had arrived. They were there for Su King. Many people outside the city had heard when the Longjiang base city was under attack and the presence of the otherworld Heavenly King was made public, not to mention the fact that the base city's request for help had facilitated the fast travel of information. The successful defense of the Longjiang base city was an even bigger surprise. Some outside forces asked around and collected some information. The center of all the pieces of news was Su King. Some forces, such as the Tang family and the Star Organization, were aware of Su King even before the strike. The rest knew next to nothing about him. That being said, it would be against their interests if they didn't hurry over to befriend that mysterious, yet powerful battle pet warrior. Outside the Pixie Pet Store. Many people had gone to the store during the 10 days that Su King had been training the pets, while keeping his doors closed. Many were disappointed to see the closed doors, but no one dared to cause a disturbance. They waited quietly. As a matter of fact, they thought that this was what a legendary battle pet warrior should do. In that day and age, all the awesome characters would prefer shutting their doors and decline seeing visitors. They wouldn't be regarded as big shots if they acted differently. No one doubted the information's authenticity in regards to Su King. It was impossible to cordon the news about the beast strike suffered by the Longjiang base city. Many people from other base cities had gone to help the base city, and they got to see an astonishing side of Longjiang. Su King had forced the Heavenly King to retreat. The major families from the base city had beast kings. Those facts were enough to shock the world. After all, Longjiang was merely a Class B base city. The number of beast kings found in the base city was stunning. With that many beast kings, Longjiang base city could be qualified as a top-tier base city. But the fact remained that it was still a Class B base city. What a modest base city. It was outrageous to see that Longjiang classified itself as a Class B base city when it had what it took to be graded as Class A. So many people are waiting for him. He's not opening the store and he hasn't returned home. What is he thinking about? Li Qingru stood by the house and gazed at the store, clearly worried. There had to be at least hundreds of people waiting by the sides of the street, and yet it had been 10 days since Su Ping had either gone home or opened the store. Li Qingru was worried. Our son has grown up. He knows what he is doing. Don't worry about him, Su Yuanshan comforted his wife. He, too, was wondering. Su Yuanshan shook his head and dragged his wife home. We too, the old married couple, should stay out of our son's business. So, you think I'm old? Nope. You're lying, you just lied to my face. You've changed. At the store, Su Ping, who had spent 100 days in the cultivation sites, finally returned. He looked a bit older than he was 10 days prior and his clothes were in rags. He had just returned from the realm of elements. Even though his wounds had been cured, he did end up in an embarrassing state after the intense battles. Finally, I've finished the pet training. Su Ping heaved a sigh. He kept on training the pets, day and night, and spent 100 days in the cultivation sites. The changes were obvious to him. The pets were not the only beneficiaries from the training, he was caught too. Finally. I've reached the 9th rank. Su Ping clenched his fist and his eyes glowed. He was officially at the 9th rank, the titled rank. He had become so much more powerful than before. Even beast kings would feel inferior to him. He could kill a common beast king at the ocean state with one punch, only using his physical strength. As for opponents at the titled rank, dealing with them would be a piece of cake for him. When he used the dutifully practiced Zen Cutter, Su Ping was even able to fight a Fate State Beast King by himself and not die in the process. I've learned the rules of fire by myself. Su Ping turned his palm upward, a ball of purple flames began to dance in his hand. He had learned the elementary rules of fire when he trained in a realm of fire. His training in the realm of thunder had enabled him to gain a deeper understanding of the rules of thunder and he was close to reaching the next level. Besides, he had once mistakenly ingested some strange herbs when he was in a dragon realm, which had eventually increased his physical strength. Adding the solar bulwark, he could even fight an ocean state beast king relying on nothing else but his physical strength. Profound astral powers were stored in the cores of his cells. The vortices were quite large and solid. The heavens tests had helped in purifying his astral powers. Whenever he absorbed new astral powers, the pure astral powers inside him would automatically filter out the filth and impurities. Even though he was at the 9th rank, the strength of his astral powers could almost be compared to the ocean state. Su Ping was very happy about his journey during the past 100 days. He extinguished the ball of flames in his palm, then, he felt a gaze on him. Joanna was staring at him and she seemed to be absent-minded. What is it? He asked. Joanna came back to her senses. She shook her head but there was surprise in her eyes. She was no longer sure that she could beat Su Ping in a fight. During the past days, she had been able to tell that he had progressed every time he returned from a cultivation site. Su Ping was a different man than he was 10 days before. She was amazed by how fast he was able to develop. Do you have an idea about how many days have passed? Su Ping asked. He dedicated himself to the training in the cultivation sites and had forgotten about the passage of time in reality. Joanna answered, it's been 10 days since you started. 10 days. Su Ping was surprised. He realized he had been visiting cultivation sites for more than 100 days. If he had spent 10 days training the pets, on average, he was only making 2.4 million energy points per day. That wasn't much better than before. It's true that there's no easy money. I'm merely making 2.4 million energy points per day, even when the titled battle pet warriors are using my most expensive services. Professional training requires too much energy and time. Su Ping thought. He decided he had to improve his efficiency in professional training but that was easier said than done. Whether he visited advanced cultivation sites or not did matter. He had to find the most suitable cultivation sites. As a matter of fact, powerful creatures would be everywhere and deaths would be constant in the best of the cultivation sites. That could also be a waste of time because there wouldn't be enough training when deaths came too often. Anyways, I am mostly glad about my personal progress. I believe I'm qualified to upgrade the store now, Su Ping pondered. All of a sudden, he realized that his parents would surely be worried sick after being gone for 10 days. He exited the pet room and immediately saw Tang Ryuan and Zhong Lingtong who were sitting on the couch. The two girls were in somewhat of a mess. Their hair was greasy and their spirits seemed to be low. The opening of the pet room alerted the two girls. They sat up at once and were happy to see Su Ping come out from the pet room. Finally, you're out of there. Tang Ryuan complained. Zhong Lingtong hurried to greet Su Ping but she must have become a stranger to walking because she almost twisted her ankle after she merely took a few steps. What is that smell? You haven't showered for days, have you? Su Ping said. Tang Ryuan rolled her eyes. What a mean thing to say. You're doomed to never find a girlfriend. You're the one to say. Tang Ryuan said grumpily, You entered the pet room but you forgot all about us. We couldn't push the door open no matter how hard we tried. We would have starved to death if it weren't for the fact that you kept some snacks and ice creams in the store. Suping realized he had made a grave mistake. Tang Ryuan and Zhongling Tong didn't have permission to control the store. They were no different than the people outside, according to the system. They couldn't enter the store nor leave by themselves. I am sorry. This is my bad, Suping apologized. Go and take a shower. I will buy you a feast to make it up to you. Humphrey, Tang Ryuan snorted. Sir, Zhongling Tong said. Suping rubbed her head. I'm sorry that you have suffered. I will make it up to you. Zhongling Tong's eyes glowed. How? How about making you clean up the garbage you piled up? 211 Suping joked but he sincerely felt sorry. It was time to teach the girl some training skills. He planned on imparting her the complete elementary rules of fire. That way, she would be comparable to a 9th-rank trainer when training pets of the fire family. He would even give her the elementary agility talent in the future, not just yet. After all, an enlightening guide could develop a pet's intelligence. Some of the top trainers didn't even have that skill. That was his ace card. He would only teach her that when he found better ones. Once Suping returned, everything else returned to normal. Suping opened the store door, and a cloud of dust danced in the sunlight. Once he stepped out of the door, he noticed that many people were squatting by the street and many were advanced battle pet warriors. There were several titled battle pet warriors as well. To Suping's surprise, he noticed that they didn't seem to be locals. Chapter 543 Two materials. The door opening alerted the crowd. People swarmed to the store at once. Hey, dude, is your boss here? Are you serious? Sir, I am Zhao Ren. It is my honor to meet you. Nice to meet you, sir. Some people failed to recognize Suping while some were better informed. They immediately recognized that the young man was a super powerful battle pet warrior, the one who had defeated the other world heavenly king. People swiftly began to bow respectfully. The ones who had failed to recognize him shuddered in fear and hurried to bow to Suping along with the others. Suping was baffled. And you are? Sir, we have heard about your heroic deeds when you saved the people of Longjian from the grave disasters. We are here to pay you a visit and express our respect to you. The middle-aged man named Zhao Ren took a step closer to Suping. The others nodded in agreement. No wonder they didn't look like locals. They were all from other base cities. Suping had to thank the other world heavenly king for his fame. You don't have to do this. I'm just a store owner. Don't gather around my door, you'll affect my business, Suping said. Suping was able to tell the purpose of their visit. They either hoped to befriend him or recruit him. He, for sure, would not join any forces because he himself was a force. He didn't need to get involved with others and it was against his wishes to have any other forces seeking interests under his name. Suping went right back to his store after his reply. He was planning to go home and tell his parents that he was fine, but decided against it since there were too many people present. He didn't want to lure those people's attention to his parents, in case those people would befriend them first, eventually making things troublesome for his family. None of the people waiting outside were offended by Suping's departure. That was what a legendary battle pet warrior should do. Those advanced warriors, and even the titled warriors had been waiting there for days and they had been left unattended. But they still thought that was normal. After all, Suping was a legendary battle pet warrior. People peeped into the door but no one dared to set their feet inside. The two dragon statues outside were very lifelike and quite powerful, as if two beast kings were really there. A lightning rat was crouching by one of the statues. People lost interest when they saw it was a low-rank lightning rat. They just thought that the rat didn't have any intelligence since it couldn't even feel the pressure from the dragon statue. I didn't know that he was so young. I almost said the wrong words but I didn't. Good for me. Those who had failed to recognize that Suping was the legendary battle pet warrior were quite distressed. If they would have talked to Suping while assuming great airs, they would have directly offended him. He could have slapped them to death and no one would say a thing. As a matter of fact, their families would have to go there later and apologize to Suping on their behalf. Across the street, Ken Zhuang was sipping tea on the second floor. He stood up the moment Suping opened the door and was about to descend to say hello when Suping went back in. Ken Zhuang went back to his seat. The Longjian base city's economy was booming and he had reached the legendary rank. The business and trades of the Ken family were carried out smoothly while having him in the family. The Kens had moved miles ahead of the other four major families, the latter were no longer able to compete against them. As such, even though he was the leader of such a great family, Ken Zhuang barely had anything to do. All he needed to do was to say the word to sort out certain past disputes or contentions over some businesses. After all, the fact that Ken Zhuang had reached the legendary rank was well known to everyone in the upper class of the Longjian base city. No one could afford to hinder the Ken family's businesses anymore. It's been merely 10 days since I last saw Mr. Su and I think he has developed much more already, Qin Zhuang contemplated, his eyes narrowed. An old man who was sitting with Qin Zhuang sounded surprised. How can you sense this? As far as I can tell, his momentum seems even weaker than before. I would have mistaken him for a common man on the street. Qin Zhuang shook his head. This is where you're wrong. He has merged better with the world. I have to say that I cannot defeat him even if I were to merge with my pet. The old man was even more astounded. Qin Zhuang was a legendary battle pet warrior and his strength would be more than doubled when he was merged with his Beast King pet. How could he say that he wouldn't defeat Su Ping even in that state? Battle pet warriors were usually weaker than their battle pets and that was a general rule that would apply to Su Ping as well. Mr. Su is going to open the store for business. Go and tell our guys to hurry up and get a spot. Mr. Su was surely training pets while he closed the store. Many people know Mr. Su now, and more are coming to the Longjian base city. If they were to find that there's a top trainer in Su Ping's store, they will all rush over to try. We will forever lose our chances if one day Mr. Su gets bored and doesn't want to run the store anymore, Qin Zhuang added. The old man understood immediately. That was a fact. Since he was such a stunning battle pet warrior, Su Ping was surely opening the store purely out of interest. No matter how many times Su Ping had claimed he was serious, no one believed him. They had to make the best of it while Su Ping was still interested in running a store. After all, the pet training effects in Su Ping's store were marvelous. When titled battle pet warriors wanted to ask a top trainer in the Holy Light Base City to train their battle pets, they would usually have to rely on some connections and spend a large amount of money. On the other hand, training in Su Ping's store was fast, cheap, and amazing. I'll get right on it, the old man replied. Su Ping went back inside and called the masters of the 24 pets to go and pick up their battle pets. While he waited for their arrival, someone gingerly walked up the stairs. The one walking at the front was a middle-aged man and two suited fellows working as entourage were trailing behind. Still, even those two were at the titled rank. Su Ping was a bit surprised but didn't think much of it. After the three went inside the store, he asked, "How can I help you?" "We offer pet training and various kinds of pet food." The middle-aged man explained himself, "Sir, I'm not here to buy anything. I'm the mayor of the Hancheng Base City and I just came here to express my appreciation. Thank you for telling Venerable the Blade to help us." Su Ping remembered the piece of news he had seen. "How is your city doing? Are you safe now?" "Yes, sir, we are quite safe." The mayor turned his hand over and two boxes appeared out of nowhere. "Sir, I have been asking around and came to know that you're searching for certain materials. I took the liberty to get that list. It just so happens that we had two of those materials in our base city, one in our inventory and the other one belonged to the Shen family. Their family head asked me to bring it to you as a gesture of appreciation." Su Ping's eyes glowed. He had been searching for materials he needed for the solar bulwark but he had not received any updates. Then the mayor of Hancheng Base City had suddenly given him two of them. What a pleasant surprise. "Thanks," Su Ping said at once. He received the two boxes. Indeed, they were two materials he needed and both had been perfectly preserved. "Thank you very much," Su Ping expressed his appreciation again. The mayor was glad that Su Ping liked the gift. "This is just a minor gesture. Sir, I'm glad you liked it. If we find other materials, we will get them to you." Su Ping nodded. He was grateful. Venerable the Blade decided to help the Hancheng Base City on his own and Su Ping was going to sell the Swamp War Crocodile to Venerable the Blade anyway. But the Hancheng Base City mayor had paid him a visit to thank him. Su Ping felt humbled. "Sir, we won't waste more of your time." The mayor was ready to leave. Su Ping asked, "I have an average Beast King on sale. Do you want it?" The Beast King he spoke of was a dragon he had captured with the beast catching ring while he was training the dragons. The chances of catching a Beast King with an advanced beast catching ring were not high but Su Ping had noticed that the chances would be greatly elevated if the Beast King was barely breathing after wasting some beast catching rings to try but failed to capture dragons at the Fate State. Su Ping used the last one to capture an Ocean State dragon with a combat strength of around 16. The mayor was baffled. "He's selling me a Beast King dragon?" He wondered if he was hallucinating. He suddenly remembered what Venerable the Blade said to him. It turned out that having Beast Kings on sale was not a joke. This legendary battle pet warrior was indeed selling Beast Kings. The mayor gulped. Sir, are you sure you have a Beast King on sale? I wonder what the price is like." "The price will be 180 million, Su Ping stated. The mayor felt dizzy. So did the two standing behind him. All three were overwhelmed by disbelief. What a cheap price for a Beast King. Chapter 544 The Tang family in distress. On the other hand, Tang Ryuai and Zhong Lingtong had become quite used to seeing Beast Kings on sale. They could no longer offer any comment when Suping was selling a Beast King for no apparent reason again. Where did he get so many Beast Kings? He didn't need them. They had never seen Suping have many Beast Kings with him. If he did have Beast Kings of his own, why would he keep the Inferno Dragon and that strange dog with him? They couldn't understand this, and that was always the case when it came to Suping. Therefore, the two girls had long given up on the attempt to find the answer. They were just a couple of innocent onlookers in that place. Amid disbelieving stares, Suping stepped to the door and summoned the dragon he had captured and added to the list of battle pets on sale. The price was 180 million. Boom. The dragon that was dozens of meters tall landed on the street and its wings extended over the roofs on both sides of the street, blotting out the sun. The vicious energy of a Beast King dragon stunned everyone present. Many people narrowed their eyes in astonishment. Beast King? The advanced battle pet warriors were scared out of their wits. A Beast King was right in front of them. How shocking. Even the titled battle pet warriors were barely able to hold back the urge to scream in fear. Their blood was freezing. They were afraid the dragon would kill them if they made a slight movement. What? Across the street, on the second floor, Ken Juang was surprised by the sudden appearance of a dragon. The next second, he felt something. Is that? Whoosh. He rushed to Suping's store. The strong energy that came from him allowed him to squeeze through the crowd and reach Suping's door easily. Ken Juang found himself by the foot of the Beast King. Even if he was a legendary battle pet warrior, Ken Juang still felt some pressure from this Beast King, which was like that of the Storm Scorpion, or even stronger. After all, dragons were the most powerful beasts. Do you want it? Suping asked the mayor. The mayor was still staring at the legs of the dragon. He could not see the dragon as a whole since he was standing inside the store. Still, he was sure that the energy of the Beast King was making his blood freeze. Buy it? The mayor was dumbfounded. I can get the Beast King for 180 million astral coins. Really? It's not a joke? Are you sure that I can buy it? The mayor felt compelled to ask again. He was worried that it would be some sort of a test devised by Suping, and that agreeing to buy it would make him look too arrogant and Suping would belittle him for that. Buying a Beast King for 180 million was like asking for the moon. Of course I'm sure, Suping reassured the mayor. Now that you're at my store, you are my customer. Pay the bill. I don't do transactions on credit. Suping sounded so calm that it seemed that he wasn't talking about a Beast King. The mayor made up his mind. Yes, I will take it. I will take it even if the price were 10 times higher. Sir, thank you. Just 180 million. I don't accept extra money. Pay the bill. The QR code is printed on the counter, Suping said. The mayor saw the QR code. He scanned the code and transferred 180 million to Suping. He wanted to transfer 200 million to Suping directly. But on second thought, he wondered if that would please Suping at all. Such a person would not value such a small sum of money. The young man was basically giving the Beast King to him for free. Since Suping had made it clear that the price was 180 million, giving 200 million would not be a smart thing to do. Soon, the mayor transferred the money. Suping heard a ring on his phone. All right, go ahead and establish the contract. By the way, once you buy a pet in my store, you cannot willfully cancel the contract within a 10-year period. You will have to come to me and explain the reason, then cancel the contract after you have my permission. Do you agree to these terms? The mayor nodded without hesitation. Yes, I do. Honestly. This was a Beast King. Why would he cancel the contract in his sane mind? The mayor found the rule unnecessary, but he didn't think too much of it. After all, the big shots were prone to develop some peculiarities. As a matter of fact, people were all peculiar, it was just that those who weren't big shots were afraid to show them. Go ahead, Suping said. Right then, Ken Juang entered the store. Mr. Su, long time no see. You must have taken a lot of trouble for my people, Ken Juang said with a smile. He was referring to the Ken family elder that was there for pet training. It's my job, answered Suping. Ken Juang had noticed the mayor but didn't recognize the man. He just noted that he was at the titled rank and seemed to be a man of influence. Ken Juang cut to the chase at once. Mr. Su, this dragon is on sale. Suping added, just sold. Ken Juang was gloating after hearing the first two words and was disappointed by the last two words. He turned to the man standing by Suping. That man was surely the buyer. I was one step too late. Ken Juang produced a forced smile. Although disappointed, he managed to hide it. It was Suping's right to sell the battle pets to anyone he liked, and Ken Juang knew he couldn't have asked Suping for privileges. The mayor was surprised. Too late? So, this man was also trying to buy the battle pet? The mayor then recognized that the old guy was Ken Juang, the leader of the Ken family. Dozens of years in the past, Ken Juang had been a famous titled battle pet warrior, just like Venerable the Blade. He later retired to oversee his family and gradually lost his fame. Still, not too long ago, he had reached the legendary rank. He had attracted much attention after breaking through. "Mr. Qin, it is my honor to meet you," the mayor said at once. He was curious. It appeared that this wasn't Qin Zhuang's first time in the store to buy a Beast King. That had to be the case with Venerable the Blade as well. The mayor was stunned speechless. He stole a glance at Su King. How many Beast Kings had this man sold? "Are you the mayor of the Hancheng-based city, Mr. Zhang?" Finally, Qin Zhuang recognized the man. After all, the Qin family would keep information about based city mayors and titled battle pet warriors. The mayor smiled. "Mr. Zhang, you are one lucky man," Qin Zhuang exclaimed. He was a bit envious. He had been living across the street and yet that mayor had beat him to it, while he even wasn't from that base city. But Qin Zhuang didn't bother over that fact because he could tell that Su Ping had meant to sell the Beast King to someone else. Qin Zhuang was afraid that complaining would upset Su Ping. The mayor also realized that buying the Beast King could make others envious. He expressed his thanks again and as Su Ping instructed, he went outside to sign a contract with the dragon. The sheer size of the dragon frightened the mayor when he saw it whole. He even wondered if he would be able to sign the contract, and if the dragon would fight back. After all, it was a Beast King, and a healthy one at that. Generally speaking, a titled battle pet warrior would technically be unable to establish a contract with such a Beast King. The mayor tried with care and soon the contract was smoothly built. The dragon would not fight back while the pressure from the system was in effect. It would stay loyal to its master, to begin with. The dragon would only fight back if the mayor were to act abusively or anger it on purpose. Those standing on the street were stunned speechless at how the mayor signed the contract without any difficulties. People had assumed that it was Su Ping's pet when the dragon came out. However, a titled battle pet warrior had become the master of that dragon, right in front of them. What happened? Whoosh! 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 Several people arrived. They were the elders of the Mu family and the other major families. The elders noticed they were too late, once they noticed that the dragon had already taken a master. They were afraid that their family heads were going to blame them for not acting faster. "Mr. Su, you've sold another Beast King." The Yi family elder smiled fawningly. The Liu family elder asked about the unfamiliar man, "And you are?" The mayor was still in a daze after the contract was finalized and a new consciousness appeared in his. A dream had come true. The question pulled him back into reality. The man asked to probe for information. As such, the mayor decided not to reply. He didn't want more people to find out that he wasn't from the Longjiang base city. "Mr. Su, thank you." The mayor turned around and bowed to Su King. That was how he expressed the magnitude of his gratitude. "I'm merely doing business." "You don't have to thank me," Su Ping said. "I'm the one who should be thanking you, for the materials." "Sir, you are very welcome." Su Ping didn't indulge in small talk. He went back inside. Qin Zhuang and the other family elders realized that Su Ping had purposefully sold the Beast King to that man because he had provided some materials Su Ping needed. They remembered the materials Su Ping had asked them to find for him. They then realized they had found a great way to get Beast Kings. The ones standing outside on the street were so stunned that they couldn't close their mouths. Su Ping sold that Beast King? A Beast King? The onlookers gulped. The words pet store above the door felt offending to the eyes. It was a pet store run by a legendary battle pet warrior. The mayor rode the dragon with his two men right after he said his thanks. Even though he was the current source of envy since he had nabbed the Beast King, no one would eagerly follow him to snatch the dragon from him. A titled battle pet warrior with a Beast King could be regarded as a fate challenger. Fate challengers usually came once in a few hundred years and yet, just then, a man had become one. He had the power of a legendary battle pet warrior. Since the battle pet was gone, Qin Zhuang said goodbye, dejected and disappointed. The other family elders also left. They had to wait for another chance. Su Ping waited for a while but no one went to pick up their pets. However, about 30 minutes later, those who were waiting outside the store suddenly swarmed in. They first greeted Su Ping. "Sir, I heard that you offer pet training services." "We're here to have our pets trained," a middle-aged man asked, smiling fawningly. They had been afraid to go in at first. They later obtained some information from the locals and understood that Su Ping's store offered pet training services. Of course, their primary goal was not to have their pets trained, they mainly wanted to get closer to Su Ping. If they could get a Beast King like the one they had just seen, their trip over would have been more than worthwhile. "Sure." Su Ping said calmly, "I'm fine with you if you come here for my services. I do not only offer pet training but pet food as well. Be my guest and take a look. My products have the highest quality." "Of course. Sir, your pet store must be the best there is." All of them tried to butter Su Ping up. He wasn't in the mood to correct them anymore. Those people looked around and many wanted to leave upon learning the prices. They had anticipated that the prices in a store run by a legendary battle pet warrior would be high, but they didn't know that the prices could be that steep. Training one advanced pet would cost 100 million. Just training, not buying one. The highest market price for a 9th rank adult dragon would be 100 million, unless the dragon was at the peak of the 9th rank and had a rare bloodline. Training would do nothing more than improve the pet a little bit. While Suping was a legendary battle pet warrior, he hadn't been recognized as a trainer. Asking for such a whooping price was unacceptable to many people. While some decided to quit, some chose to spend money to forge a friendship. Some paid the 100 million, although it pained their hearts to do so. Suping understood what people were thinking, but he didn't care. He would convince his customers with his work, not his mouth. While he was busy taking care of his customers, a girl in her 20s noticed Tanger Yuan, who was helping receive the customers. She had to take a closer look to be sure that it was indeed Tanger Yuan. The girl stepped out from the line and a titled battle pet warrior hurried to fetch her. "Miss, what are you doing?" The old man sounded nervous. Suping was behind the counter. The old man was worried that his young lady's rash behavior would upset that legendary battle pet warrior. The girl ran to Tanger Yuan and asked, Yuan, is it really you?" Tanger Yuan was bored because everyone was behaving and there was no order for her to uphold. She was surprised by the girl that ran to her. "Zhao Meng, what are you doing here?" And the girl named Zhao Meng was excited. "It is you. I knew I was right. What are you doing here? I heard from the Tang family that you were dead. I wanted to go to your memorial but they said no outsiders were allowed." Tanger Yuan produced a forced smile. "I'm dead to them, as far as the Tang family is concerned." "Why? What happened?" Zhao Meng asked. Tanger Yuan shook her head. "Nothing. What are you doing here? You are the most precious to your family. I cannot believe you were allowed out of your family territory." The Zhao Meng girl was a young lady of the Xia family and Tanger Yuan's friend. "Nice to meet you, Lady Tang," the old man behind Xiaomeng said in a low voice. He also stole a glance at Suping and was relieved that he didn't mind their little interactions. Tanger Yuan found the old man's fear of Suping amusing. Having spent so much time with him, Tanger Yuan no longer found Suping intimidating. "I'm no longer the young lady of the Tang family. You don't have to do this." "You're not?" Xiaomeng stared at Tanger Yuan, bewildered. Tanger Yuan was not in the mood to talk about the past unhappiness. "Let's not talk about this. Since you're here, why don't you stay for a couple of days? I will show you around after I finish my shift. I can ask for a leave from my boss." Xiaomeng failed to locate a response. The old man was just as baffled. Asking for a leave from the boss? Does she mean the legendary battle pet warrior? So, Tanger Yuan was working for a legendary battle pet warrior? The girl and the old man looked at each other, surprised. They remembered how they saw Tanger Yuan was trying to keep order in the store. The young lady of the Tang family who was rumored to have died was working for a legendary battle pet warrior, and she claimed that she was no longer part of the Tang family. So, had the Tang family devised a different plan for her? If so, had they stumbled upon a big secret of the Tang family? Xiaomeng was concerned. She didn't want too many complications in her relationship with Tanger Yuan. She was about to turn down Tanger Yuan's offer when she thought of something. Yuan, the Tang family is in trouble. Did you know that? What? Tanger Yuan turned pale. Xiaomeng was surprised since Tanger Yuan had been kept in the dark. She explained. I heard that the Tang family offended someone horrifying. It happened recently, something went wrong when your family head was cultivating and was badly wounded. That information was somehow leaked. Right now, the Sichu family, the Wang family, and other families were giving the Tang family a hard time. I believe they're going to join hands. Tanger Yuan could not believe that. The Sichu family and the Wang family were two of the four ancient families. Any one of them was able to compete with the Tang family. The four ancient families were quite similar in strength. Chapter 545 had to go back, however. Being under the siege of the Sichu and Wang families was certainly not good for the Tang family. Also, is father hurt? Tanger Yuan's heart skipped a beat and wore a grave expression. She wondered if her father would acknowledge her, the useless girl, as his daughter at all. Anyway, the Tang family was in distress. With the two enemy families and her father wounded. Yuan, you didn't know? Xiaomeng stared at the girl who just a moment before had said that she wanted to show her around the base city. Xiaomeng could hardly believe Tanger Yuan's ignorance of the matter. Xiaomeng was unable to understand why Tanger Yuan had been kept in the dark. Tanger Yuan came back to her senses. She didn't explain to her best friend. After a moment of silence, Tanger Yuan turned around. Su King was still taking notes of his customers. Tanger Yuan made up her mind. Zhao Ming, she said, thank you for telling me this. I'm sorry but I cannot keep you company. I have to go back. Don't worry about that. But, you must be careful if you're determined to go back. Zhao Yuman was worried. She would not and could not stop Tang Ryuan from going back to aid her family. Tang Ryuan stepped to the counter. Su Ping had just finished writing something down when he heard Tang Ryuan's voice. Su. Yes. Su Ping looked at her. I want to take a couple of days off, Tang Ryuan whispered. Su Ping was surprised. Why was she asking for leave? What for? Nothing. I just want to take a couple of days off, Tang Ryuan murmured. She didn't want to get Su Ping involved in that mess. What do you think this place is? I won't grant that request if you cannot give me a rational reason. Su Ping turned her down. The customers waiting in line stared at Tang Ryuan in surprise. This girl worked for Su Ping? How audacious of her. She was asking for leave without giving any reason to that legendary battle pet warrior, and she sounded so bold as she did so. Tang Ryuan was speechless. My friend is here. I want to take some days off and show her around. She pointed to Xiaoman. Xiaoman immediately put on a cute smile and waved at Su Ping. The titled ranked old man standing behind Xiaoman was nervous. He forced a smile on his face and nodded to Su Ping. Su Ping raised his eyebrows. The spots are going to be filled soon, you can get off work by then. You don't have to ask for any leave if you want to keep your friend company. You can just show her around after work. How long do you think you need? Tang Ryuan answered after a second of silence. I want to take 2 to 3 days off. I want to be with her for a longer time and I don't want to be here all day long. She clenched her fingers when she said the last sentence. Those familiar with her knew that was a sign of her lying. You don't want to stay here? Su Ping frowned. He sized her up and down and he noted her clenched fingers. Tell me the truth. What are you going to do? Why do you need 3 days off? Who's going to help me with the customers if you're not here? Never mind, I don't want to hear it from you. You two, please come over for a second. Nervously and gingerly, Xiaoman and the old man worked up the courage and stepped closer. Nice to meet you, sir, the two said with respect. They gazed at Su Ping on tenterhooks. The old man regretted not stopping his miss. He was afraid that Su Ping would also vent his anger on them because of Tang Ryuan. The Xia family could not afford to upset a legendary battle pet warrior, nor the Tang family for that matter. Is she asking for 3 days off to keep you company? Su Ping asked. The two didn't feel at ease under Su Ping's stare. At this moment, Su Ping no longer looked like an average young man, his dignity made them feel reverent. Don't scare them, Tang Ryuan said in a hurry. Xiaoman turned pale once she felt she was the target. She felt she would be torn apart for the slightest movement. That honest feeling of danger nearly stopped her heart. The old man was drenched in a cold sweat. Naturally, he wouldn't want to lie to a legendary battle pet warrior. Sir, please do not be mad at us. Lady Tang wants to go back to see her family, it has nothing to do with us. Sir, please forgive me. I've said what I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. He wanted to take the blame for his miss. If Su Ping were to punish someone, he could take the fall. At the very least, the Xia family would be safe. Going back to see the Tang family? Surprised, Su Ping turned to Tang Ryuan. Why? He asked. Tang Ryuan was unhappy since her lie had been detected. While fearing to look into Su Ping's eyes, the girl lowered her head. The Tang family is in distress. I have to go. But the Tang family has banished you. You're no longer a person of the Tang family. Su Ping looked into her eyes. Su Ping still remembered it vividly, as if it had merely happened the day before. During the Supremacy League, he had met Tang Ryuan's younger sister, the current future family head of the Tang family. She sounded so calm when she said, if she upsets you, kill her. Su Ping couldn't bring himself to forgive that girl for saying those cruel words. Tang Ryuan raised her head. Composed, she claimed, but I still have the Tang family's blood in me. I know they never treated me as one of them, but I'm from the Tang family nonetheless. I don't care if they don't acknowledge me. Facts are facts. Su Ping was shaken. Suddenly, there was a radiant glow around the girl. Are you saying that you have decided? He asked. Yes. I have to go. What kind of distress? What can you do if you go there? Tang Ryuan answered with silence. She was at the 7th rank. Even though she had qualified battle pets that could increase her strength, it was the Sichu and Wang families that she had to deal with. Advanced battle pet warriors meant nothing to them. She wouldn't be of much help even if she were at the titled rank. If I cannot live with them, let me be buried with them. Finally, Tang Ryuan gave her answer. Su Ping was touched. She was more determined than he had expected. Now that you're on a suicidal mission, it gives me more reasons to stop you from going back. Su Ping patted her head. You are my temporary employee. If you died, where should I go and find another? You mentioned that you didn't want to stay here all day long. Huh, what do you know? I like forcing people to do what they don't want to do. So, from today on, be prepared to spend all of your time here. Chapter 546 Upgrade. Tenryu Aizen stared at Suping. She forced a bitter smile. Suping was the one who had captured her, but she had realized that Suping was a kind person with a vicious mouth. Don't do this. Tenryu Aizen lowered her head again. I'm not worth it. I have to go back. Sure, you can go. But that cannot be a suicide mission, Suping said. After you sort your family matters, come back and continue working for me. Tenryu Aizen answered with a bitter smile, if I can survive it. I will come back. You will as long as you want to. Suping waved his hand. I will tell my battle pet to go with you. Let's revisit the matter later. Today, just do your work. Tenryu Aizen's eyes glowed with hope. Did he just say he's going to lend me his battle pet? She knew very well how stunning Suping's battle pets were. His battle pets were as mighty as beast kings. If she could go back with a beast king, it would be of great help to the Tang family. Thank you. Tenryu Aizen said, lowering her voice. Suping motioned her to step away. Tenryu Aizen went back to her post without further ado. The customers around them had heard the conversation and glued curious glances on her. If they had heard correctly, the Tang family they were talking about had to be one of the 4 ancient families. Some with a wilder imagination had worked out the story. They could not believe that the girl working for a legendary battle pet warrior was from the Tang family. Since the legendary battle pet warrior was going to help her and lend her a battle pet, those forces that were going after the Tang family were in for a disaster. Soon, the system alerted Suping that all spots had been taken, including the nursing pens. Suping put down his pen and made the announcement. We don't have any room left. Please come next time. The customers were surprised to find that no more room left was a thing. Other stores would never turn down any customers. The customers found an explanation when connecting the fact that Suping was a legendary battle pet warrior. They were still under the conviction that running the store was not Suping's focus in his life, but his pastime. As for making more money, a legendary battle pet warrior didn't need money. The customers, although disappointed, had to leave. Afterward, Suping told Tenryu Aizen, the girl and the old man to approach him. You told Tenryu Aizen about the Tang family's troubles, right? Spare no details. What happened? How long has the Tang family been in trouble? As they stood in front of Suping, Xiaoman and the old man could not help but tremble. Xiaoman found the courage eventually. Sir, I heard from others as well. The Sichua family and the Wang family are working together. Several days ago, they started to strike the Tang family's businesses and companies. I heard that those 2 families are not going to stop there. They will probably launch a military attack in the next few days. Suping raised his eyebrows. The Sichua family and the Wang family? So, the matter is limited to the 4 ancient families. Do you know what got the 2 families to work together on this strike? Xiaoman answered, although gingerly, I think it is because the Tang family head got hurt while cultivating. Suping noticed that Tenryu Aizen was wearing a worried expression. He shook his head. Since it's one of the 4 ancient families, the sole fact that the family head was wounded would not give the 2 families enough reason to strike. After all, they had been on good terms until then. There must be another reason for that sudden strike. Even if the family head was hurt, the family would have others in command. The family head is at the peak of the titled rank at best. He's not the true reason. Xiaoman turned pale. I do not dare to lie to you, sir. This is what I heard. The old man was also agitated. Sir, our Miss and Ryu Aizen are best friends. We would not dare to fool her. I'm willing to swear on my title. Suping waved his hand. Do calm down. I'm not saying that you've lied to her. I am merely pointing out that there are other reasons for this. It's not surprising that you may not know. Either way, they're not going to fool around with the next strike. They must have orchestrated the strike while being certain of a victorious outcome. Tenryu Aizen suddenly came back to her senses. Suping's analysis scared her. The Tang family had an artifact that was strong enough to kill beast kings. The Sichua family and the Wang family knew this well. They had known the Tang family for quite a long time. The only explanation was that the Sichu and Wang families had acquired something that could render the Tang family artifact ineffective, and they had found a reason to decide that the Tang family had to go. Tenryu Aizen's mind felt heavy. She looked at Suping, wishing to speak but stopped on second thought. If Suping could go and help her, given his influence, no matter how long the Sichus and the Wangs had been planning together, they would have to give up. However, Suping was a legendary battle pet warrior. Why would he help her and the Tang family? The Tangs had sent armies to attack Suping's store. The 2 parties had a dispute once. Even though everything had ended with a Tang family issuing an apology and offering Su Ping treasures, who was to say that Su Ping had indeed moved past that? What is the situation like in the Tang family territory? Su Ping asked. Xiaomeng answered candidly, the Tang family is located in the Yadu base city, which has entered a state of emergency and is carefully screening people coming from other base cities. The Sichua family and the Wang family are still calm at the moment. I don't know when they will initiate the battle. However, the Tang family has already called back all of the members stationed in other base cities. Tang Ryuian turned paler upon hearing that, but she kept her head low so no one would see the pain on her face. Su Ping cast her a glance. He would rather not let her go back because the Tang family had shunned her. He tried to persuade her but failed. As such, he thought he might as well let her go to let her have a closure on the matter. I believe it will be fast. After some thought, Su Ping said to Xiaomeng and the old man with her, thank you very much for telling me this. You can go back if you have other business to attend to. The old man thanked Su Ping and hurried to leave with Xiaomeng. Staying there with Su Ping was too stressful for them. That left Su Ping with Tang Ryuian and Zhong Lingtong in the store. I'll have Frosty go with you. You'll come back alive at the very least, Su Ping said to Tang Ryuian. Which one is Frosty? Tang Ryuian was confused. Su Ping summoned the little skeleton. He ended up naming the skeleton Frosty. At first, Su Ping had thought the Inferno Dragon would have been enough. It would have been a big threat for any of the four ancient families. However, he then learned that two of the families were working together. Fearing that the two families had some trump card, Su Ping decided that the little skeleton was a safer bet because he wouldn't be there with her. Not even the other world Heavenly King would be able to kill the little skeleton. Its ability to stay alive had been tested in the realm of purple blood dragons. Those purple blood dragons at the Fate realm had had a hard time trying to kill his pet. Tang Ryuian was overjoyed. She knew that of all of Su Ping's battle pets, the fragile-looking little skeleton was in fact the most powerful. Thank you. She could find no other words and saying thank you was not enough to express her gratitude. She would have to remember his kind gesture. Listen, dear, go with the ant here and take care of her. Don't let her die. Su Ping patted the little skeleton's smooth skull. Tang Ryuian. The little skeleton took a few seconds to digest this information. The little skeleton nodded after a while. It seemed that the little skeleton needed to check its reflexes. Su Ping was used to that by then. Even though the little skeleton was not the best communicator, it was the best fighter. His most violent battle pet. Kill anyone and anything trying to harm her, Su Ping added. The little skeleton nodded. Su Ping smiled. As she looked at Tang Ryuian, he remembered that the Zhang family had once given him some herbs that could increase his astral powers. He had never used them and would no longer need them since he had reached the 9th rank, thanks to the Ashura King's blood and the herbs he had found in the Dragon Realms. Those herbs were suitable for those at the 7th or 8th rank. Your rank is too low. Any titled battle pet warrior could kill you with attacks across space. The little skeleton cannot keep an eye on you at all times. I have some herbs. Take them and try to break through to the 8th rank, Su Ping said as he took out the herbs from his storage space. Tang Ryuian was speechless. She had become used to Su Ping's poisonous words. She did worry because of her 7th rank. She had once been proud of her achievement. She had done excellently when compared to all her peers. She prided herself of being a talent. However, after meeting Su Ping the Freak, including the titled and even the legendary battle pet warriors, she realized that the 7th rank was nothing. Will it take too much time? What if by the time I go back, the Tang family has already been? Tang Ryuian voiced her concern. Su Ping rolled his eyes at her. Don't overthink. Your friend said they haven't started the battle yet. They're all pretty big families and even if they have indeed started, the battle would not end that quickly. If you are worried, I suggest you do not waste another second. He tossed her the herbs. Tang Ryuian thought for a while and realized that Su Ping's words made sense. She took the herbs with her to the test room. Su Ping told Zhong Lingtong to fetch him the notebook so that he could categorize the pets according to the information. Su Ping was thrilled when he checked the number of energy points. He had made 68 million energy points that day. All the customers had chosen training for advanced pets and most had even selected professional training. He had 90 million energy points in total. Another 10 million and he would have 100 million energy points. Su Ping could hardly believe that. Of course, it would take a long time to train all the pets. That was why he was unable to go with Tang Ryuian. For one thing, he didn't like the Tang family. Besides, he was too busy. The little skeleton alone would do. It would at least keep Tang Ryuian safe. As for the survival of the Tang family, that was not Su Ping's concern. Upgrade the store. Su Ping said to himself. That would cost him 10 million energy points. To upgrade the store to the 4th level would require 1 billion energy points. Over 100 times more than the current upgrade. Checking. The first requirement was fulfilled. The second requirement was fulfilled. The third requirement was fulfilled. Initiating store upgrade. Upgrade process will last for 24 hours. The system will be under maintenance in the meantime. Only elementary to advanced cultivation sites will be available. Top-level cultivation sites will be closed for the time being. Deducting energy points. Upgrade initiated. Suping raised his eyebrows when he heard those messages. System, why do you need to be maintained? I thought you were the smartest system. Maintenance means rest. The system is tired from keeping an eye on a useless host the entire time, the system refuted. Suping was surprised that the system had learned poisonous words. Where did the system get that from? Chapter 547 Third Level Store. While the upgrade was taking place, Suping thought he could spend this time in pet training. Most of the cultivation sites he had picked this time were related to divinities. He had promised Dusk, who had recently taught him the Sin Cutter, to find that goddess for him. The divinities usually enjoyed complex environments that were rich in many elements. Apart from creatures like the little skeleton, all the other creatures could be trained in such divinities. One day passed in reality. But Suping had spent 10 days in a divinity realm. The 4 battle pets he had taken with him had grown to have above-average aptitude. A few more days and the 4 battle pets training would be completed. The divine energy is fusing better and better with the Sin Cutter. Suping had been absorbing divine energy during the past 10 days, and was also attempting to use the divine energy when he performed the Sin Cutter attack to increase the strength of the latter. It was a good idea, but he didn't get off to a good start. The Ashura energy repelled the divine energy. The 2 opposing types of energy had torn him apart before he even drew his sword. After dozens of deaths and many attempts during the 10 days, finally, he was able to add some divine energy when he used a Sin Cutter. Just like he had hoped, the skill became more powerful than before. But he would have to make more attempts to improve upon the integration. The upgrade had been completed by the time he returned to his store. Suping pulled up a visual of the entire store area. The 3D model of the store appeared in his mind. The extra properties he had purchased before had officially become part of the store. Almost all the places on that side of the street were his. His store covered up a much larger area than before. The storefront was as large as a ballroom. The spacious lobby could house hundreds of people inside. The ceiling was over 100 meters high. Even the giant battle pits could stand there easily. It was a magnificent building. Suping also saw a display room for pets on sale or available for rent. The display room occupied almost half of the entire space. All the pets for sale and for rent would be placed on some display stands with introductions about them on a side. This would aid the customers to easily determine which one they liked. The total number of nursing pens has increased to 40 from the previous 20, and the spots in the storage space were increased to 80. I can take 120 pets in total. The nursing pens can be upgraded to advanced nursing pens. Suping walked around the store, which had become more sumptuous. He pulled up the systems shop in his mind. The systems shop was currently at the 3rd level as well, and he was able to see 6 items displayed on one page. Black Tortoise Shield, Elementary Divine Skill, 1 million energy points. Blood of Feather Dragon, Material, 0.62 million energy points. Advanced Beast Catching Ring, Enhanced Version, 500,000 energy points. Suping's eyes glowed. The first item was an Elementary Divine Skill. Even though it was an elementary one, that was a divine skill nonetheless. Most of the items in the shop would cost hundreds of thousands of energy points, and the cheapest one would cost 200,000 energy points. The odds of catching a Beast King with this enhanced advanced beast catching ring is 30%. Suping eagerly bought the ring. The original advanced beast catching ring merely had a 10% chance of capturing a Beast King. When he was down on his luck, he could even use 10 rings and would not even get one Beast King. The enhanced version of the ring would cost a lot more, but the odds were much greater. According to Suping's experience, if he could hurt a Beast King first and then use the enhanced version of the ring, he believed that the odds of capturing it could be increased to 50 or 60%. That would be amazing. After all, the Beast King could be at the Ocean State or even the Fate State. He could even capture one at the peak of the Fate State with the enhanced version. This is awesome. Maybe I can tell Joanna to send someone to beat up a Beast King at the peak of the Fate State next time I go to the Demigod Burial. I can sell it for several hundred million if I can capture one and sell it here. What a great deal. Suping was excited. He couldn't sign a contract with a pet at the peak of the Fate State. He would have to put it on the side for the moment, or sell it, and only those at the Void State would have such a pet. I'm going to take the Black Tortoise Shield as well. He didn't even hesitate. Since he had more than 80 million energy points left, spending 1 million was nothing. Soon, a golden glow appeared in his mind. The system was asking if he wanted to take the skill right away. Suping couldn't transfer the skills he bought from the systems shop to anyone else, unless he were to teach someone verbally after having mastered the skill. Yes. Soon after, a gush of information swarmed into Su Ping's mind. In a daze, Su Ping saw a huge black tortoise standing on the ground and there were strange patterns on its shell, seemingly describing mysterious rules. The patterns grew and grew until they submerged Su Ping. He came back to his senses the next second. He could still see some of the lines and patterns. He thought he had learned something, but he didn't understand a thing, all at the same time. He subconsciously began to mobilize his astral powers, which moved along a strange line in the vortexes. Zing. All of a sudden, a golden glow burst out from him. The strange patterns he had seen on the black tortoise had been inscribed on him. The golden glow formed a shield. As he stared at the shield, he tried to land a punch on himself. His fist was bounced off and the shield remained undamaged. Su Ping was able to tell that there was a cycle of astral powers between the shield and himself. He had used quite a lot of strength in that punch and yet it didn't damage the shield at all. He had ascertained that the shield would at least be able to fend off a strike from a Beast King. Amazing. While he was merely at the titled rank, he was already able to raise a shield with his astral powers, one that was strong enough to withstand the strike of a Beast King. I'll find out the shield's limit in the test room, Su Ping said to himself. He was able to tell that the shield was much stronger than his current perception. But before that, he would have to ransack the systems shop. Apart from the skill and the beast-catching ring, Su Ping could use other items but wasn't in dire need of them. For example, the dragon blood could convert an impure dragon bloodline into a pure one of the feathered dragon species. It was said that feathered dragons had fate state bloodline and that there was a chance that a feathered dragon could develop further and reach the star rank. But that was just a legend. The odds of succeeding in reality was small. I wonder how many energy points I can get if I sell it. Su Ping was curious. The selling price is the same as the price you pay here, the system answered. Have you finished your maintenance? I'm fully rested, to be precise. Did you just say that I will make as many energy points as I spend? Indeed. You're really making it hard for a middleman. Su Ping was speechless. He couldn't make any money on that. But I can still buy the dragon blood and sell it to some repeated customers. I won't make money but that's a favor for those repeated customers, Su Ping pondered. After taking another look at the balance of his energy points, Su Ping bought the dragon blood as well. For the moment, he didn't need the other items so he chose to refresh the page. He would have one free chance to refresh every day. 6 new items popped out, no divine skills this time. There were mainly strange materials and food. Trapping rope, 0.8 million energy points. It can trap a Beast King soul, take it away from the creature's body, thus immobilizing the Beast King. The effect of the item amazed Su Ping. It was a rope with the power to disable all Beast Kings. Of course, the stronger the Beast King was, the faster the recovery would be. The rope could freeze an Ocean State Beast King for 8 hours. But that rope would only last for a minute with Fate State Beast Kings. That rope is not effective for star-ranked creatures. I can fight average Fate State Beast Kings easily, given my current strength. But if the rope can help me detain a Beast King at the peak of the Fate State for a minute, I can win. Su Ping's eyes glowed. The item was an outstanding piece. Buy it. Minus 0.8 million energy points. He paid and got the rope. Su Ping checked his storage space. A golden rope was lying within. Su Ping decided to refresh the shop again. But this time, it would cost him 1 million. He could afford it since he had enough energy points. Dream Inducer, 0.32 million energy points. The target's memory can be corrected, making the target regard subsequent experiences as a dream. The target can also forget events and related memories during that period of time. Su Ping didn't know what to say about that. Dream Inducer. It was just a fancy name for knockout drops. I cannot believe you, system. How dare you sell this? Pooh. Minus 0.32 million energy points. Su Ping saw the word sold in the slot. System, you're charging way too high for this. You're asking for 32 million astral coins for this potion. Such a potion would only be sold for a few $100 on the black market. Chapter 548 Training Tang Ryui in the system replied after a moment of silence. Put away those filthy thoughts of yours. Dream Inducer doesn't work that way. Some masters would use this potion on their students to pass on legacies, or people would use it to study some secret skills. Although memories would be lost, the muscles would not forget the battles. What filthy thought? I don't know what you're talking about. You're the one snooping on me all day long and you're calling me filthy, Su Ping retorted. Not snooping. Observing. To hell with that. The system was becoming more shameless with each passing day. The muscles won't forget. I believe this indeed is a good buy. Such a shame. Su Ping heaved a sigh. What is a shame? That I have to use this good stuff for the right purposes. Su Ping put away the Dream Inducer and started another round of refresh and purchase. He refreshed the shop several times and only stopped when the cost had increased to a record high. He got another skill during the attempts, named Rock Dash. It was just as rare as the Black Tortoise Shield, both elementary divine skills. The Rock Dash was more aggressive. Suping absorbed the skill book right after he purchased it. Rules of space were integrated into the skill. As such, his understanding of the working mechanism of space had been deepened. If a legendary battle pet warrior at the ocean state were to learn the skill, there would be a chance for said person to master teleportation, that should be unique to the void state. Suping also bought 2 more advanced beast catching rings. He had also bought food for pets of the undead family, blood of impurity. The blood of impurity was delicious for most pets of the undead family. The food could increase energy for undead creatures and even inspire mutation. However, for more advanced creatures of the undead family, the blood of impurity would not inspire mutation. Suping bought it for the little skeleton so that its energy could increase. Since the little skeleton had the Skeleton King's bloodline, the food wouldn't make the little skeleton evolve. He closed the shop and walked around his store. He went into the test room and noticed that the room was much more spacious than before. The room was set to recreate an ocean. Large waves reached high before splashing down. Yuan sat on the beach, with a light green glow around her. She was cultivating the glass bulwark. Suping sensed that she was still at the 7th rank. That wasn't strange. After all, one day had just passed in reality. Although the herbs could help her, she couldn't have absorbed all the herbs at once. This isn't fast enough. Suping shook his head. All of a sudden, he remembered the dream inducer. Suping thought of an idea. He sought confirmation with the system. If I use the dream inducer on her, can I take her to a cultivation site? The system had mentioned that the muscle memory would be kept. If that was true, then he could help her tap into her full potential, not worrying about her having any memory of the cultivation sites. Affirmative. The system answered, but you'll have to sign a contract and make her your pet. For real? Suping was surprised. Really? No wonder he would find this potion in the system's shop. Had the system prepared it for him? That was to say, he could train other people in the future. After all, as far as the system was concerned, all living things were pets. He could train others' pets and train others at once. But he would have to have Dream Inducer first. Let me have a try. If this works, I can use it on her when I get another Dream Inducer. Suping said to himself. He was thinking of the girl studying in the academy. He could train his sister himself if the effect of the training could be kept, but the memory of the cultivation site would be lost. Dang. Suping called Yuan. Yuan opened her eyes. The faint green glow around her helped her fend off the waves. Yes. She turned to Suping, asking curiously. Come over here. I have something good for you. While he said those words, he realized they sounded a little bit weird on his ears. Huh? Yuan wore a pleased expression. Good thing? Is Suping going to give me a Beast King? She had witnessed Suping selling Beast Kings many times. It wasn't strange if Suping suddenly decided to give away a Beast King. After all, Suping was practically giving away Beast Kings with those cheap selling prices. She soon remembered her cultivation. She was at the 7th rank. She could not sign a contract with a Beast King. The glow in her eyes died down. Even so, she stopped training, got up and hurried over to approach Suping. What is it? Yuan asked. She couldn't sign a contract with a Beast King, and Suping surely knew that. He had to be talking about something else. Well, close your eyes first. That sounded even weirder. Yuan found it strange as well, but she did as she had been told. Suping was about to take out the Dream Inducer when he fell into a daze. For the first time, he noticed that the girl was quite beautiful. Done? Yuan asked. She was blushing. Right away. Suping came back to his senses and took out the Dream Inducer at once. It was a strange golden pellet with some special lines inscribed on it. Suping had been told the application method when he bought it. He crushed the pellet under Yuan's nose, and a dark red mist gushed out, which seeped into Yuan's nose. What was that? Yuan wanted to open her eyes. It's okay. You can open your eyes now. Suping was relieved she had absorbed the pellet completely. Yuan asked curiously, what is that beautiful smell? Nothing. I'm going to take you somewhere. Come with me, Suping said. He was still unsure, so he asked the system again, are you sure this will work? Yes. The system was sure. Suping had to trust the system. He took Yuan to the pet room. He cancelled the contract with one of the pets he was going to train and took out a temporary contract, which he placed on Yuan's forehead. What is that? Yuan was confused. Suddenly, she felt something was entering her mind. Her instincts told her to be nice to Suping, and she wanted to trust him. That sudden appearance of closeness fastened her heartbeat. Think of it as a dream, Suping said. He took a deep breath. He chose to go to a divinity realm. He had failed to find the goddess for dusk in the divinity world he had previously visited. He was going to another so that he could train the pets while continuing the search. The swirl appeared and took Suping and Tangryu in. It was also a middle-rank cultivation site. Suping was able to feel profound divine energy around him as soon as they landed. The vortexes in his cells began to operate, pulling the divine energy in. Where are we? Tangryu was baffled after finding that she was in a completely unfamiliar world. How could she appear in a completely different world when she opened her eyes? What happened? Chapter 549 An Epiphany. Suping didn't explain. He simply said, "Come with me." He summoned 3 pets, the Inferno Dragon, the Dark Dragon Hound, and the Purple Python. As for the little skeleton, he would only summon it when absolutely necessary. Your pet. Suping was about to tell Tangryu to summon her battle pets when he thought of something. Can her battle pets be revived in her state? No, the system answered at once, their deaths would be real. Your contract is merely with her, not her battle pets. Suping was not too surprised by this. As if Tangryu-i's battle pets could be trained there, then he would ask her to be his carrier, to take in more pets with him in the future. He remembered that Joanna's battle pets couldn't revive in cultivation sites, either. Let's go. Suping said. They were in a dense forest, an immense one. Apart from the divine energy spread everywhere, he was also perceiving a smell of blood in the air. There had to be beasts or members of the god race there. What? Tangryu had yet to snap out of her shock. Suping was already leaving. She hurried over and asked again, "What is this place? How come we're here?" "All you need to know is that it is a place for you to fight," Suping answered, not looking back. Soon, he had seen some massive beast tracks on the ground. The beasts had squashed some leaves in the mud. "Let's go." Suping followed the tracks. Tangryu was dumbstruck. Suping's words didn't sound like an order. She was getting a feeling that she would follow his words out of instinct. Whoosh! She followed him, while unleashing her powers and using another secret skill, shadow tracing. She could travel at very fast speed, and even be able to get away from 8th-rank beasts. Soon, she realized that Suping was getting further and further away from her. "Wait up," she shouted and hurried on. Suping didn't stop. He was traveling as a titled battle pet warrior, aiming to train Tangryu. Half an hour passed. Suddenly, Suping felt he had become something's target. Informed and experienced as he was, Suping quickly recognized that he was facing an Ocean State Beast King a little bit too powerful, but it'll work. Suping didn't stop. Soon, he followed the tracks and reached the end of a road that had been destroyed. A behemoth was standing there, staring at him. The beast had sensed that something was following it and that it wasn't strong. Therefore, the behemoth stopped to wait for it. A hunter? Go to hell. The beast saw the human and spoke the god's language. Suping had learned the god's language from Joanna, so he was able to understand. Still, that behemoth's accent sounded a bit strange. Finish him. Suping told the customer's battle pets and the purple python to fight the beast king first. As for the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound, Suping didn't release them. The beast king wouldn't have survived the joint strikes of the two. "You go as well," said Suping to a panting Tangryu. She had just arrived. She placed her hands on her knees, breathing heavily. She heard Suping's words and stared at the behemoth. "A beast king?" "Yes. Go and kill it," Suping said. Tangryu glared at him. She wondered if she had heard it wrong. Did he just tell me to go and kill the beast king? She was about to diss him when something inside told her that she should abandon all distractions and that maybe Suping was right and she should give it a try. But that's a beast king. The will to survive kicked in. She freed herself from that strange state and said, I'm merely at the 7th rank. I will only slow those pets down. Don't be afraid. Just go. Don't worry about deaths, Suping said, with a cold-blooded tone. He was always cruel when it came to pet training. Tangryu was about to refute when she felt a burning sensation. She realized that she would die if she didn't follow his orders. Is he going to kill me? Tangryu could hardly believe it. But Suping looked very different from when he was at the store. That was not a man who would joke around. Startled as she was, she made up her mind. She prepared to summon her battle pets to fight in that desperate fight. The moment the swirls opened up behind her, Suping said, "You will have to rely on yourself. Don't use your battle pets. Rely on the skills you learned from the Tang family. I trust you." Tangryu was furious. Indeed, the Tang family had collected many skills, but no amount would be enough when facing a beast king. Suping was relentless. She bit her lips. Suddenly, she felt as if she were making a rash decision. "If you want me to die, so be it." She let go of her fear and once again, With a shadow tracer, she charged toward the Beast King. The battle pets were laying siege to the behemoth. The fact that those lower beings were trying to attack it had angered the Beast King. Feeling insulted, the Beast King roared. "Rot in hell." The Beast King spoke the god's language. A surge of golden energy gushed out. The 3 pets that belonged to Su Ping's customers flew backward. The 3 pets would have died if it weren't for their previous round of training. The purple python was the only pet that remained standing next to the Beast King. The snake's scales were raised. The purple python attacked its shield the moment the Beast King unleashed its energy. The python shook its head and rapidly approached the Beast King, wrapping up the latter. Thanks to its ample battle experience, the purple python was agile. The Beast King tried to grab it and tear it apart, but the scales were too sleeky. Tangryu had reached the Beast King as well. Her determination wavered as she looked at that gargantuan figure. She thought of Su Ping's words. She then shouted as she dashed toward the Beast King. Bang! The Beast King bellowed. The sonic impact cracked the energy shield that Tangryu had just raised. Even the glass bulwark failed. The next second, she was found hundreds of meters away, barely breathing. Su Ping frowned. He went to see her. "Keep going," he said. Tangryu coughed out blood. Su Ping was looking down at her from a height. She couldn't find any warmth or kindness on his face, just coldness. She smiled. She placed her hand on the ground and slowly crawled up. Even standing was too painful and too much work for her. She lowered her head and said, "If my death is what you want, I'll grant your wish." She looked into his eyes. The tenderness and affection in her eyes stunned Su Ping. He was then reminded that Tangryu was a person, not a pet. Or, pets weren't animals as he thought they were, they also had feelings. It was just that they couldn't show their feelings like Tangryu. Was it really so? Su Ping replayed in his mind how the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound would run toward death again and again under his command. They were determined, willing, and they trusted him. He replied with silence. He had been surrounded by too much affection along the way. No wonder the Inferno Dragon would not step down even when facing the otherworld Heavenly King. The Inferno Dragon was willing to sacrifice itself for him in the cultivation sites and had always been so. Why would it be afraid of a Heavenly King? Is that how you showed your feelings for me? Su Ping turned around, gazing at the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound who were sitting in the distance, bored. The Inferno Dragon was scratching its back and the Dark Dragon Hound was looking for bugs on the ground. Neither was interested in the ongoing battle. Because they had experienced too many. Su Ping looked away. "Go," he said to Tangryu again. At that moment, the glow in Tangryu eyes had died down. Su Ping noticed that but said nothing. He had understood that she trusted him and was willing to do what he ordered. But he wouldn't let her down, not even when he had to put her in harm's way. After all, her death wouldn't be real. Her pain was there so that she may live. That was the rule of life. Tangryu gave Su Ping one last glance but said nothing. She turned around and walked to the Beast King, then jogged and then ran, shouting bang. The moment she reached the Beast King, she was reduced to dust. Su Ping watched her as she perished, then he ordered her revival. Soon, Tangryu appeared on the spot, good as new. She stared at herself. To her surprise, her wounds were gone and even her fatigue. "Go," Su Ping repeated. Tangryu came back to her senses but still didn't know what was going on. Is any of this real? She wondered if she were dreaming. How could she have possibly arrived in that peculiar space? She had also died. But then she came back to life. It had to be a dream. She remembered how Su Ping was different from when he was at the store. She was convinced. That was just a dream. If it was indeed a dream, then there was nothing to be afraid of. Finish it. Tangryu once again charged at the behemoth. Soon, she died and returned to life. Again and again. And again. Tangryu was getting more and more excited. That was a dream. But the dream was too realistic. She could do whatever she desired there. Ha, 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 go to hell. Beast King? Come on. Let me show you how I'm going to crush you. Hey, dude, smile for me. Her loud and wild laughter echoed in the forest. Tangryu threw herself at the Beast King again and again. Even though each attempt would end with her dying, she was getting more excited and more thrilled. Su Ping. The sudden change of the girl stunned Su Ping. That deep emotion gathered at the bottom of his heart had just vanished. I must be thinking too much. The girl was so ladylike in her usual day-to-day life. What happened? Fight well. Don't think you can do anything just because you won't die. Learn from the pets. Su Ping had to discipline her. Tangryu snorted. Don't tell me what to do. I'm the boss here. Anyway, why is the Beast King still here? I should be able to kill it with one thought on my mind. Chapter 550 Fast improvement after repeated deaths, dozens of times. Tang Ryuan took the fight more seriously. Even though she would come back to life, her death would always be miserable. She tried to use all sorts of mind tricks to manipulate the dream but realized that it wouldn't work. She had to follow Su Ping's instructions and fight the Beast King again and again. That was the first time for her to fight a Beast King. She gradually found some fun in the repeated failure. Since she wasn't dying, she was able to experience the Beast King's strength, and the longer she was able to last, the better she could get used to the Beast King's methods. She was immersed in the feeling of progressing by leaps and bounds. I can only battle the Beast King in my dreams, Tang Ryuan thought. Half an hour later, together with the other pets, and after many, many deaths, Tang Ryuan had finally dragged the Beast King to its death. The Beast King was not a stupid one. After determining that those things could not be killed, the battle pet chose to run away. However, the purple python would not stand for it. At the moment, the purple python's combat strength had reached 13 points. When the Beast King showed signs of fleeing, the purple python would entangle it and finally kill it by relying on teamwork. Afterward, Su Ping took Tang Ryuan and pressed on. Soon, they encountered another Beast King. The previous battle had lasted for a long time that the other surrounding beasts were alerted. Su Ping reached a swift decision. Tang Ryuan and the customers' battle pets were the ones who would do the fighting, while the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound would wait on the side, ready to jump in when necessary. Time zipped by. Su Ping, Tang Ryuan, and the battle pets played as they fought their way forward in that forest. They had killed many beasts and most had been Ocean State Beast Kings, fewer beasts of the 9th rank. They had later encountered 2 Void State Beast Kings. They encountered another beast at the 9th rank when they reached the edge of the forest. That time, Su Ping didn't send out any of their battle pets and asked Tang Ryuan, who was the weakest, to fight the beast all by herself. 7th rank against 9th rank. After 5 deaths, Tang Ryuan had finally killed the beast that was at the lower position of the 9th rank. In a few days, Tang Ryuan had progressed by leaps and bounds. Although she was from the Tang family and had learned many secret skills, humans were destined to be weaker than beasts. They encountered another beast of the 9th rank. A battle pet warrior would have to rely on his or her battle pets to defeat a beast of the same rank. However, Tang Ryuan was already able to rely on herself and kill a 9th rank beast. Her gathered experience made her become more sensitive to danger. Her potential was unleashed after rounds of deaths and revivals. You had to die 5 times. That is not good. Su Ping shook his head. He wasn't happy about the result. For the other battle pets, after days of training, they would have found flaws of that beast to kill it after 3 attempts at best. He had to admit that battle pets were more perceptive than humans. Tang Ryuan glared at Su Ping, who had just scolded her. I'm at the 7th rank. It's already amazing I can make the beast go away. Su Ping replied calmly, what's amazing about that? When I was at the 7th rank, I was able to kill a guy like that with 1 punch. Tang Ryuan saw that the situation was unfair. Do you think everyone is like you? You freak. Anyway, which state are you? I heard that the legendary rank has different states. She was curious. Su Ping had been able to defeat a monster like the Otherworld Heavenly King and could easily defeat a Beast King. He had to be at the legendary rank, although he might be a little bit too young for that. Of course, if he could defeat the Otherworld Heavenly King while not being at the legendary rank, that would be outrageous. I've just reached the titled rank, Su Ping answered. Save your energy. Think about how you can defeat the next beast with 1 life. Titled? Who are you fooling? Tang Ryuan retorted, you're a liar even when you're in my dream. What a jerk. Su Ping was puzzled. What is going on inside her head? Also, since when did she start to sound cheeky, like me? Also, why would I say like me? Save it. Let's move. Su Ping was not in the mood to continue arguing. Tang Ryuan curled her lips. They left the forest and went on. Su Ping thought that if he were able to find a city, he would be able to ask about the goddess that Dusk was waiting for. Time passed quickly. Su Ping failed to find the goddess in that realm. He chose another divinity site and took Tang Ryuan with him again. He also took with him some customers' pets. Tang Ryuan had become used to that type of training. During the time he was at the store, Su Ping would pull her into his contract space, not allowing her to see the store. Since she thought she was dreaming, he believed he could use that to his advantage. It would make wiping her memory easier. Later, if she thought of something and asked him, he would simply deny it and she wouldn't have any evidence. The second place they visited had a harsh environment. There were ruins everywhere. It seemed that a gruesome battle had just ended. They saw not only remains of gods but also that of beasts. They explored the place. Whenever they met a group of gods fighting, they would jump in and help the former. After they helped the gods out, Su Ping became acquainted with some of them and he asked about the goddess, using divine energy to put up an image of her, but they didn't recognize her. To repay his kindness, the gods invited Suping to visit their city, but he declined. He was there for training, not for leisurely travel. Suping got to know that the balance between the gods and beasts was upset because of a void bug invasion. Those bugs worked with the beasts and drove the gods away as they tried to take over the place entirely. The leader of the beasts was a beast king at the star rank. Suping asked about the location of the beast king, then said goodbye to the gods, and went for the beast king. They saw many battles between gods and beasts along the way. He offered help in the form of training for the battle pets on Tenryuian as well. When they encountered void state beasts, he would tell Tenryuian to observe and let the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound fight. Void state beast kings could start to use elementary skills of space and kill a person like Tenryuian right away. She would not receive any experience from that. By the 8th day, Suping found the location of the star rank beast king. It was a desert that was completely occupied by beasts and bugs. Suping was not here to kill said beast king but to find the best place for training. With so many beasts and bugs in the area, Suping told Tenryuian and all the battle pets to join in. All except for the little skeleton. The little skeleton was way too powerful than a void state beast. A fight against such a creature would only count as a warm-up exercise for the little skeleton. On the 10th day, they made their way to the star rank beast king, one that had come into an agreement with the void bugs. The beast king was a centipede that was over 1,000 meters long, with golden scales. The centipede had eaten up many gods. The huge insect was at the star rank and the energy leaked from its body had already stressed him out. Lucky for him, it wasn't the first time he had met such a creature. He had once seen a purple dragon that was at the star rank. He was able to gather himself soon. But that was not the case for Tenryuian and the other battle pets. They were all shuddering in fear, some even collapsed on the ground. Suping didn't worry, this was a rare chance for Tenryuian and the other battle pets. If they were in the real world, staying that close to a star rank creature would already have led them to their deaths. But, they were able to observe such a creature at a close range. It was training for their minds and willpower. Suping summoned the little skeleton and told Tenryuian and the other pets to fight the surrounding beasts while he and the little skeleton dealt with the beast king. Deaths and revivals were alternated. Finally, their time was up. When they were about to leave, same as before, Suping placed Tenryuian in his contact space. The beast king had been unable to kill Suping on account of his revivals. Suping and the little skeleton were also unable to kill the beast king. After all, they were too weak. The little skeleton was not at the fate state yet. To defeat a star-rank creature was a bit too much. While Suping was training Tenryuian elsewhere, at the Yadu base city. The Tang family compound. That was the most prosperous and most glamorous place of all the base cities, Yadu. Of the entire Yadu base city, the Tang family was certainly the most influential family. Thanks to the Tang family, the Yadu base city was able to be one of the leading class of base cities. The base city and the Tang family were closely tied together. When beasts came to invade the base city, the Tang family would offer great help. At the moment, as required by the Tang family, the city gates had been closed. Questioning travelers was being carried out. Trading with the other base cities had come to a pause. The base city would only open its doors if a truly influential force was demanding it, otherwise, the base city would be closed to all. That night, there was no sound in the huge Tang family compound. The core members and elders were gathered in the hall. The elders were sitting on their sandalwood chairs while the core members were standing in the hall. Chapter 551 Outbreak. Sir, the third and fourth generations of our family have returned. Those of the fifth generation who are still training out there were told to find a hiding spot and only come back when everything settles, a middle-aged man reported. He was of the second generation of the Tang family, the cornerstone generation. As for the third and fourth generations, they were still young, they represented the future of the Tang family. As for the fifth generation, they were even younger. They were still out there, experiencing the world. They were the seeds of the Tang family. A middle-aged man sitting on a chair nodded after listening to the report. The man appeared sickly and his hair was turning gray. It seemed that he was still recovering from a grave illness. If we can survive this, the Tang family will be reborn, becoming even stronger than ever before. The man stood up. A rosy color climbed to his cheeks, making him look a bit healthier. However, everyone was able to tell that he was merely using his astral powers to keep up appearances. The Tang family has a history of 800 years and I am currently in charge. During those glorious 800 years, we have had 2 legendary battle pet warriors and 72 titled battle pet warriors. We've fought many battles, hunted beast kings and slain hundreds of 9th rank beasts. We fought for the Yadu base city and we've sent help to more than a dozen base cities to protect them from beast strikes. We have never escaped from any battle and we never lost one. The Sichua family and the Wang family are asking for the moon if they think they can cannibalize us because I got hurt during cultivation. The man addressed the room vigorously, with bright piercing eyes. The Tang family will not fall and will not lose. The only ones who can defeat us are basically ourselves. The people in the room were inspired by that resounding declaration. They had never lost a battle. The glory of the Tang family will not end. 800 years the Tang family had strived? Some dynasties would not even last that long. We've heard from our sources that the Sichua family and the Tang family will get to the Yadu base city overnight to strike us. The family head, Tang Linzhen, gave a once-over at the room as he slowly took his seat. I will try my best to recover in the next 3 days. I will let your future family head, Tang Ruayu, take care of all arrangements and plans during the next 3 days. Many people turned their eyes to focus on a girl. She was but 18 or 19 years of age. Young as she was, she could keep a cold appearance and calmness in such a grave situation. Many people were aware that the girl was their future leader and she had earned their recognition and trust with her abilities. The bond of blood was not the only standard when determining the future family head. The candidate had to be equipped with excellent abilities. There was no doubt that of the 4th generation, Tang Ruayu was the most talented one. Of all the past geniuses and talents of the Tang family, Tang Ruayu was the more outstanding one as well. She had become a master battle pet warrior when she was merely 18 years old. She had overpowered most of the younger generation, not even the family elders questioned her strength. Compared to Tang Ruayu, their children didn't even come close. Even the students learning in the best academy of the subcontinent district would merely be at the 7th rank when they were 18. Those who were at the 8th rank at such a young age would be considered celebrity students in the academy. Tang Ruayu also excelled in planning and strategy. She had been entrusted with the mission of leading the family at a critical and difficult moment. Some were worried but no one opposed having her take the lead. The elders had no issue with that at all. They were aware that, while Tang Ruayu was the nominal leader, she was just carrying out orders from the sly fox, Tang Zanlin. Yes, sir. Tang Ruayu stood up. Her voice was neither humble nor pushy. Tang Zanlin nodded. I've told the mayor to keep the status quo in the base city and try not to alert the enemies for the time being. We shall be adequately prepared in the next 3 days. I'm going to show the world that the Tang family will not fall victim of bullying, even without legendary battle pet warriors. The Tang family will prevail. People chanted vigorously. Even without legendary battle pet warriors, the Tang family was still one of the 4 ancient families. We will defeat all those who dare invade our territory. Tang Ruayu thus claimed. That night, a secret meeting was held to make arrangements for the next 3 days. After the meeting, some elders escorted Tang Linzhen to a secret cultivation location of the Tang family. Sir, will the Sichua family and the Wang family suspect anything if we issue the notice so quickly? I mean to have them suspect things, suspecting that I've deliberately spread intel to them through their informants. They may change their strategies. While our sources of information within those families are concealed well, there's no telling if they would later be exposed. Maybe the 2 families have also fed us information purposefully. That is true. Otherwise, it would be unlikely for us to know a strike that is going to happen 3 days later. I wonder if they're going to strike earlier, since they're altering their plans. Hard to tell. We shall see. Some elders chatted and parted ways later. 2 days went by. On the night 2 days after, a large number of flames suddenly appeared outside the Yadu base city, illuminating the night sky. Charge! Many people jumped out from underground, outside the north gate of the Yadu base city. They used pets of the Stone family to tunnel their way directly to the city gate. The guards immediately sounded the alarm, right after the initial stage of shock because of the sudden invasion. Soon after the alarm, the formerly closed gate was opened. Suddenly, chaos descended near the guards on the city wall. They began to fight each other and some were killed instantly. We have moles among us. A person shouted miserably. The north gate of the Yadu base city had been breached. Many people quickly found their way through the door and into the city. Some titled battle pet warriors flew across the wall. There had to be more than 100 of them. People would be startled if they ever saw this. Titled battle pet warriors were second only to legendary battle pet warriors, and yet, more than 100 were breaching the base city. How shocking. They charged toward the Tang family compound as they entered the Yadu base city through the gate. Along the way, their battle pets stomped and destroyed the many buildings and stores. Some residents lost their lives in their sleep and some were crushed to death by their fallen houses. The battle pet warriors didn't care about those residents at all. As far as they were concerned, the people who had no fighting abilities were puny insects who had nothing to do with them. Charge! The shouts and bellows were heard all across the Yadu base city. Countless battle pet warriors swarmed into the Yadu base city, pressing toward the Tang family compound. Soon, many people were gathered outside the Tang family compound. Several fireballs were discharged into the Tang family estate. However, there was a large shield over the compound that fended off the fireballs. Many disciples had readied themselves inside the Tang territory. They were armed to the teeth, ready for battle. Listen up, members of the Sichua family, let's wipe out the Tang family. A man shouted and a dragon snarled after him. Many titled battle pet warriors summoned their battle pets and descended over the Tang family compound. Chapter 552 Aggression and Betrayal Onward. The 9th rank beasts took the lead and charged their way into the Tang family compound. The other battle pet warriors formed arrays to converge their astral powers. The battle pets they summoned were grouped according to their categories. Some of the battle pets that were of the same family were able to collaboratively unleash some bloodline skills. Boom. The shield over the Tang family compound gave out a loud noise. The bugle of war was sounded. Humphrey. They are early indeed. Inside the Tang family compound, an elder crossed his hands behind his back and stood on a platform, looking down on the scene from a high spot. The enemies were upon them, like surging tides. He could not tell how many there were, but he was sure that it was a force prepared to destroy the Tang family. I cannot believe it's you, Brother 3. The elder's eyes flickered in the darkness. If Su Ping were there, he would have recognized that the elder was Tang Minking, the one who had visited his store. His eyes were as sharp as those of a vulture. He dialed a number on his phone. He said with a low voice, "Sir, everything is ready. We're waiting for your arrival." "Good," the man answered in a deep voice. In the meantime, the shield over the Tang family compound was getting weaker by the minute. It would be quickly destroyed, given the many battle pet warriors and pets involved in the attack. While the shield was about to crack, some noises were abruptly heard behind the invaders. Many fireballs rained down from the sky. The ground trembled as some slops were raised and from them rolled down many boulders. Ambush. The tactic army is behind us. Let's go. A leader of the invaders took decisive action. The invading force immediately turned around and charged toward their assailants. The titled battle pet warriors who had been observing joined in the battle to crush the Tang family assailants. After all, many of the battle pet warriors were also the elite fighters of their respective families. As the invaders were caught in that fight, the shield over the Tang family compound broke. Many battle pets then charged forth from inside the Tang family compound. The battle pets unleashed many types of long-range strikes, making loud noises. Mist was created, fire was summoned and ice was born. Glamorous rays of light broke forth in the night sky. The battle pets snarled and barked, exploring the way. Boom bolts of lightning were kindling the night sky. The invaders looked up, only to see a flock of birds that had a wingspan of more than a dozen meters. The birds flew in the sky, much like floating buildings, and all the birds were thunder sparrows. The Tang family's feather army. No, the thunder sparrows are collaborating. Listen up. Set up in formation. Initiating the dragon formation. The invaders lined up in a special pattern as the orders were issued. They pooled their astral powers together. Instantly, as their astral powers got in sync, a huge shield appeared out of nowhere, right above the invaders. It was a shield as powerful as the one that had been protecting the Tang family compound. In the meantime, a bolt of lightning of the thunder sparrows making came crashing down. That bolt of lightning was hundreds of meters thick. The power surge cut off the electricity supply of half of the Yadu base city. In the distance further away, some residents even saw electricity sparks in their houses. Boom. The bolt of lightning came whooshing down toward the shield. Lightning flashed, lighting up the night sky. The radiance was offending to the eyes. The lighting screamed as if thousands of birds were chattering in an unpleasant way. Following the bolt of lightning were the strikes from the battle pet warriors. They shot arrows that could pierce through hard materials. The shield was already on the verge of collapsing because the bolt of lightning and the arrows had crushed it completely. Boom, boom, boom. Many battle pet warriors were hurt by the arrows. The casualties were rising among the invaders during that volley of attacks. There was no doubt that the Tang family's feather army gained the upper hand and had inspired awe in their enemies. Is that the feather army? I thought the Tang family had lost a feather army. How come there are still so many of them? No, this is a mixed bunch. Not all of them are master battle pet warriors. While the invaders flew into a panic, the titled battle pet warriors among them were able to find the weaknesses of the feather army. The feather army entered the fight forcefully, but many of them were just there to make up the numbers. Even though they weren't weak, they didn't work well with the master battle pet warriors. It was evident that the Tang family had mobilized members of their other armies to fill up the ranks, because of the previous loss of the feather army. As such, the feather army would be less intimidating. Brother Feng, how about we have a match? Let's see which one of us can kill more of them. Sure thing. I do want to see the power of the spear skill in your family. The titled battle pet warriors charged toward the feather army. Swirls appeared next to them, They summoned their battle pets and flew to clash with the Feather Army. The Feather Army was a formidable force, made by 2,000 battle pet warriors. That being said, the titled battle pet warriors were not working alone, either. When it came to comparisons, the Feather Army appeared to be quite clumsy. The titled battle pet warriors tore up the Feather Army's formation. The members of the Feather Army had to deal with those titled battle pet warriors. I will go and help them. The titled battle pet warriors of the Tang family who were standing in the compound charged forth. In the meanwhile, Ryu was standing on high ground, watching and issuing commands. Right then, a person approached her and she became alerted. She turned around, only to see her father arrive, clad in armor. But her father was not as sickly as before. Rather, his eyes were full of violence and he was quite vigorous, like a caged beast about to be set free. Father. Sir, you wound. What wound? Did you think I would foolishly get myself hurt in cultivation? Tang Linzhen sneered. He approached Ryu and said, the Sichua family and the Wang family have been coveting our things for more than 6 decades. They thought I did not know. What? Do they think I'm blind? Ryu was scared pale. More than 60 decades? Since she was a kid, she had always been told that the Sichua family and the Wang family would battle, just any of the 4 ancient families would contend against each other. She had even heard that the Sichua family had once killed titled battle pet warriors of the Wang family, and she had seen pictures as proof. She had thought that the Sichua family and Wang family were fierce opponents. But father said that they had been working together for more than 6 decades. So, everything she thought was already proven was just for show? The deceased titled battle pet warriors were performers? She couldn't help but draw a long breath. Using titled battle pet warriors' deaths as part of the show. How cruel could the 2 families be? Go and get your Uncle 3, Tang Linzhen said. Ryu was about to ask why when Tang Linzhen focused his mind on the battle, he would be the person in charge from that moment on. He had to say that Ryu was to be left in charge on purpose and faked his wound. So, did he suspect there was a traitor in the family? A glint of coldness flashed past Ryu's eyes. She nodded. Soon, an elder came with Ryu. The elder turned pale when he arrived and saw Tang Linzhen. Brother 3, come here, Tang Linzhen said without turning to greet the elder. The elder was unable to tell if Tang Linzhen was angry. The elder smiled fawningly at once. Sir, are you feeling better? I'm so happy. We will be much more assured with you here. Come closer. Tang Linzhen didn't reply. He repeated his demand. The elder said yes and stepped over. However, after 2 steps, the elder unleashed astral powers and dashed toward Ryu. The fawning smile on his face turned into ferocity. It happened too fast, but Ryu just glared at the elder coldly, as if she had anticipated this. She moved away, only leaving behind a blur on the spot. In the meantime, a shadow appeared. It wielded a sword to face the elder. You're free from my containment. How is it possible? Shouted the elder in surprise. He was at the upper position of the titled rank. How could Ryu escape when she was at the 8th rank? That was only a dummy version of me. Take a good look. Ryu pointed it out. The elder put on a twisted look. He shouted and punched at the shadow, reaching Ryu directly, trying to land a punch on her face. Humphrey. Right then, a person snorted. Before he knew it, Tang Linzhen had put himself in front of Ryu and blocked that punch in her stead. The punch landed on him, but he remained perfectly still. A green glow flashed past him. Perfectly still. The elder cried out shrilly with terror in his eyes. Tang Linzhen had reached the top state of the glass bulwark. He could withstand the strikes from 9th rank beasts with his body alone. Only legendary battle pet warriors or those close to the legendary rank could have hurt him. When did the current family head of the Tang family reach the top state of the glass bulwark? He was merely 40 years of age. Not even the elder could have done that. I wanted to give you a chance, but you threw it away, Tang Linzhen declared coldly. Bang. He punched out, as quick as lightning. The next second, the terror-stricken elder trembled. There was a hole on his chest. His lips trembled. With a bitter expression, the elder murmured, Sir. Please forgive my family. His voice died down before he could finish his sentence. You should have realized the price of betrayal. Tang Linzhen flicked the blood off his hand and went away. Ryu stared indifferently at the corpse and the shadow behind her disappeared. Her face was a bit pale. After all, that elder had been at the upper position of the titled rank. She wouldn't have survived that strike if her father hadn't stepped in. While the traitor had been uprooted, things weren't looking good for the Tang family. The Sichu and Tang families were prepared. They had many titled battle pet warriors while the Tang family's feather army was on the verge of splitting up. The titled battle pet warriors were riding their 9th rank battle pets, charging all over. The Tang family was losing ground. Roar. Right then, a primitive roar pierced the night sky. Every member of the Tang family wore a grave face. Their blood was freezing, they were terrified by that feeling. Is that a beast king? Boom. A gigantic rhino-like thing appeared. The creature had sharp spikes all over its body. The battle pet warriors of the Sichus and the Wangs were making way for it. That gigantic creature charged toward the Tang family compound. Several 9th rank battle pets of the Tang family stopped on their tracks after hearing the creature's roar. Trembling, the battle pets began to withdraw. The Beast King's power overwhelmed everyone present. While it ran around as if under orders, those 9th rank battle pets ran toward the Beast King, even though their shaking had not stopped. Bang! Bang! An invisible force in the air crushed almost all the 9th rank battle pets to death. One of the battle pets that was of the Stone family didn't die at once but was close. The gates of the Tang family compound fell. Sir. Tang Ruayu was startled. On the other hand, Tang Linzhen didn't appear to be quite surprised. Get the ocean umbrella ready. Let's kill the beast. Tang Ruayu ran off at once. But before long, Tang Ruayu had returned. She appeared to be agitated. In a hurry, she broke the news. Father. Sir, there's something wrong with the ocean umbrella. What? Tang Linzhen was scared by this. The ocean umbrella was their family treasure and heirloom. What could go wrong with it? The man taking care of the ocean umbrella was a person he trusted with his heart and soul. All of a sudden, a man came shouting in indignation. It was Tang Minking. Sir, it's Brother 7. He has turned against us. Tang Linzhen trembled. He had almost blacked out. The man I trusted the most betrayed me? He would have been less surprised if his daughter Tang Ruayu would have been the one to betray the Tang family. He would have never believed that the man he saw as a brother, the one who had saved him from peril so many times, and the one who had almost died for him would betray him. No way. The voice was hoarse, as if there were a fire in his throat. But he didn't sound certain. Sir. Tang Minking shouted. Tang Linzhen came back to his senses but he was still a bit absent-minded. Soon after, sharpness came back to his eyes. He couldn't allow himself to give in because he was the man in command of the Tang family. Brother 7 cannot break the ocean umbrella or take it away, even if he betrayed us. I'll go and take a look, you stay here, he said to Tang Ruayu. She nodded. Tang Linzhen ran toward the darkness. Chapter 553 Her Glorious Return Pixie Pet Store, Longjiang Base City. Inside a cultivation site. Boom. While a loud, ear-splitting noise resounded, the ugly beast fell to the ground. Standing before the fallen figure was a panting, slim girl, Tang Ruayu. Her dark hair danced in the air, there was more coldness on her delicate face and eyes. The gods had lost most of their territories to the beasts in that divinity realm. Countless had died after years of wars. Some of the deceased managed to resist the pull from the realms of the undead and stayed on by leveraging their divine energy. However, the undead and dark force had gradually affected those souls, gradually turning them into undead creatures. There was a time when those undead creatures were gods, beasts, or the original undead creatures that had once lived there. After becoming undead creatures, the previous gods would have a change of temper. They would be seized by the urge to take blood. You made a mistake there. You could have used your glass bulwark to fend off the spike attack because you've reached the peak state of the glass bulwark. However, you chose to dodge to the side and thereby missed the best chance and angle to strike back. Su Ping was giving her instructions. Tang Ruayu had been progressing by leaps and bounds. She had been staying in the cultivation sites day after day and training alongside Su Ping. She had absorbed a fair amount of divine energy in the process. She had also absorbed the full benefit of the herbs that Su Ping had given her. She had also collected other herbs in that place. As such, she had rapidly climbed to the 9th rank. She had become a titled battle pet warrior. She battled using all the secret skills she had learned when she was in the Tang family and Su Ping had witnessed the entire process. After seeing her repeatedly using them, Su Ping had also learned the 3 most important secret skills. With some practice, he had managed to reach the peak of those skills. That was why he could tell she could have used a glass bulwark and fended off the strike of the Beast King. It was true that she was fighting a Beast King, but a Beast King would not necessarily exert full strength at all times. Just then, it was evident that the Beast King had merely wanted to nudge Tang Ruayu away. However, Tang Ruayu didn't pick up that clue. She hopped to the side and tried to fight back, only to cost her a life. Phew. Phew. Tang Ruayu was trying to catch her breath. That was not the first time she had defeated a Beast King. She had been thrilled at first. Right then, she had become more than used to that feeling she did have to die 5 times to kill one Beast King. Of course, it was true that she wasn't relying on her battle pets. She counted completely on herself. She had become used to this method of battling under Su Ping's guidance and instructions during the past few days. Su Ping had asked why she thought she couldn't do it when her battle pets could. The thought had eventually made sense to her. She would not have an excuse to lose if she was fighting a Beast King. Suping had brainwashed her without her realizing that it was a false claim, to begin with. Tangryu frowned when Suping gave her that piece of advice. She was still under the conviction that she was dreaming. But how could all of it be that real? She could feel the improvement in her. She was sure that when she woke up from the dream, even if she was still at the 7th rank, she would still remember how she fought the battles, and that would still be of great benefit to her. It was just like it happened to people who were trying to solve math problems, later dreaming of a solution, which ended up being correct. I understand, Tangryu said. She would often complain about Suping's instructions at the very beginning of the training. However, after trial and error, she realized that Suping would always be right. She would achieve good results if she followed Suping's instructions. She was amazed by his experience. She was also surprised, since her subconscious mind was somehow telling her how powerful that guy was. She was speechless, after noticing how her subconscious mind would tell her such things. But she remembered Suping's deeds in reality. It might be that she recognized his strength even in her dreams. This guy is indeed a freak, even in my dreams. A big guy is coming. Be ready. Suping did not linger on that subject. He noticed something was coming as he was about to set off. Boom. The ground was shaking. He heard a hoarse noise and then a foul smell assaulted him. He saw a behemoth coming toward them. Another Beast King. That one was even more formidable than the one that Tangryu had just finished. That Beast King seemed to be at the ocean state, like the swamp war crocodile that Suping once had. Suping gave an order. Finish it. This time, the order was not for Tangryu alone. The purple python and the customers' battle pets threw themselves into the fray as well. He was training a new group of his customers' battle pets. He had been journeying around in different cultivation sites for more than a month already. When the Inferno Dragon saw the Beast King, the former stood up and snarled, itchy to join in the fight by itself. Contrary to its wishes, Suping told the Inferno Dragon to stay put. The Inferno Dragon had gained a combat strength of 25 points after they returned from the realm of purple blood dragons. Dealing with that Beast King would only be a warm-up exercise at this point. The Inferno Dragon would only be a big bully for that Beast King. On the other hand, the Dark Dragon Hound was lying on the ground. What a lazy dog. In the meantime, Tangryu had charged toward the Beast King. She was holding a dark sword she had picked up from a place full of remains. There had been many corpses of gods scattered about. They had died because of the many complicated traps in that location. It seemed that the owner of that place had once been a vile character. The proof lay in the structure of the buildings. Suping picked up some skills books there, and the skills had a sinister nature. Some of those skills would require the user to drink blood in order to practice them. A couple of skills would affect the practitioner's mindset and make them bloodthirsty. Suping would naturally show his disdain for such sinister skills. Then he would make the best of the time available and learn them. He learned them together with Tangryu. He would not lose anything if she learned them. Besides, his sole purpose of taking Tangryu to the cultivation sites with him was so that she could grow. It was just that Tangryu was not learning as quickly as Suping did. He had mastered the skills when Tangryu was merely halfway through. The skills were of the Fate state. The skills could be too intricate for her, considering the fact that she was at the 9th rank. After all, part of the skills was related to the manipulation of space. Whoosh! Tangryu resorted to the shadow tracing, which increased her speed drastically. That was a legendary skill of the ocean state, and Tangryu was giving her best effort. Like a ghost, she instantly reached the Beast King. Her eyes turned red and her black hair was messy. Her hair became many a machete, and she wielded all the blades together with the dark sword she was holding. She was using one of the skills she had learned together with Suping, Demon Possession. That was a Fate state skill, and she was just scratching its surface. She could enter the state after a fashion and could only stay at the elementary level. Her speed, strength, and perception would increase over time while under such a state. She could also be immune to some element strikes. She would be immune to spatial strikes as well if she could practice the skill to the peak. PFF. The black sword left a meters-deep wound on the Beast King. Blood gushed out from the wound that was not healing anytime soon. The demonic aura in the wound was sucking out the blood. That was another skill she had learned. Sword of Blood, also of the Fate state. It took a great deal of blood to learn that move, and the best kind of blood would be that of undead creatures' blood. The blood would be used to refine both the sword and the user's mind. Only when your mind was cruel could your moves be cruel. Although wounded, the Beast King was not an easy target. A dark mist surrounded the howling Beast King, which locked out space. No one was able to sense anything while inside. Besides, the dark mist could secretly seep into the enemy's bodies to devour their energy. Suping had immediately sensed the oddness of the dark mist, but he didn't warn Tangryu. If it were him, He could think of dozens of ways to kill the Beast King. But he only needed her to find or devise a solution on her own. While Su Ping was unable to see what was happening, he could sense her situation. Roar! The Beast King bellowed as it dashed toward Tang Ryuyan. The purple python and the other battle pets tried to distract the Beast King. Tang Ryuyan was dashing about. While in the demon possession state and using shadow tracing, she was reaching a speed close to the ocean state. She had managed to dodge all of the strikes. Even though she couldn't see clearly, the Sword of Blood had lent her an ability to sense the trace of the Beast King. Charge! Her red eyes were filled with darkness. Her hair was spread in all directions. The machetes made with her hair swiftly slashed at the Beast King's neck. That was a fatal part for the Beast King. Still, her strike failed. Because the Beast King was merely an illusion. Roar! A large, fierce-looking mouth reached Tang Ryuyan and the sharp fangs tore her into pieces right away. The pain came. She returned to her normal state the next second. The Beast King was still roaring in her direction, clearly surprised. Tang Ryuyan realized that she had very likely just died. Frustrated, she wielded her sword again. Several minutes later, the Beast King collapsed on the ground. Tang Ryuyan sat on the corpse, panting. Her hair had gone back to normal, coming down to her shoulders and shrinking to its original size. She looked pale. That battle had consumed much of her energy. You had the battle pets fighting alongside you. Still, you died 6 times and you made 3 mistakes. Su Ping shook his head. Tang Ryuyan was speechless. Su Ping would provide her with negative reviews, crushing her confidence after each battle. I am working hard. Those are Beast Kings, for God's sake. She said those exact words to Su Ping, but he disapproved of such an excuse. She didn't feel good saying those things to Su Ping the freak, either. I understand. She stood up. I will be careful next time. She knew the mistakes she had made even without Su Ping telling her. She was mad. She was mad at herself. If that were reality, even a small error would mean the end of her life. Su Ping said no more since he could tell she had learned her lesson. He took a look at his watch. It's about time. Close your eyes. Tang Ryuyan raised her eyebrows. What is it about time? Don't ask. I won't close my eyes if you don't tell me the reason. Fine. Bang. Before Tang Ryuyan learned the meaning of that answer, she felt pain in her head and she began to lose her sight. What the heck? Those words were making their way toward her mouth, but she closed her eyes before she was able to utter them. The last image she saw was Su Ping standing in front of her, watching as she fell to the ground. She saw Su Ping's bare feet on the Beast King's corpse. She could no longer keep her eyes open. She fainted. Why wouldn't you listen? Su Ping shook his head. He placed her in his contract space and returned. She can protect herself now. It is time for her to go back home, he murmured. Su Ping summoned Tang Ryuyan after they arrived at the store. She was still unconscious. Chapter 554 Strange Constitution. Joanna sat in a nursing pen on the side, eyeing both with curiosity. Su Ping didn't offer an explanation. Get up. Su Ping kicked Tang Ryuyan and cancelled their temporary contract. Soon, Tang Ryuyan came back to her senses. She opened her eyes and looked around, confused. The store? She felt her head was heavy. What happened to me? Tang Ryuyan rubbed her head and asked Su Ping. You got drunk. Joanna rolled her eyes. Can he make up a worse lie? However, to Joanna's greater astonishment, Tang Ryuyan didn't seem to doubt that. She simply said oh, seemingly having bought such an excuse. What? Joanna was dumbstruck. They had been working in the store for quite a long time. How come she failed to see that the girl was a fool? How could she have believed that lame excuse? Su Ping was relieved since Tang Ryuyan didn't question him. He had just hacked the system. The dream inducer worked on her and would stop working from that moment onwards. Her memories of the cultivation site were sealed away. Do you remember anything before you passed out? Su Ping decided to sound her out. Tang Ryuyan shook her head. I don't. Anyway, why was I drunk? I've never been a drinker. I told you to drink some wine with me. Uncle Lee next door had a dog that gave birth to some puppies. I decided that it would be good to celebrate, Su Ping answered. Joanna. Tang Ryuyan could not believe what she had just heard. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I thought the Tang family was in trouble. Get ready. It's about time you go back home. Su Ping waved his hand. Tang Ryuyan came back to her senses at the mention of her family. She crawled up from the ground. How long have I been out? A day or two. Su Ping heaved a sigh. You should really practice your drinking. You can't hold your liquor at all. A girl should learn to drink and smoke. Tang Ryuyan. A day or two? Really? That long? She never drank wine and the Tang family forbade drinking. She didn't even know if she could trust Su Ping or not. I'm going to go right away, Tang Ryuyan said at once. Either way, the important task at hand was to hurry back to the Tang family. She was sure she would hate herself for the rest of her life if she were too late. Suping didn't stop her. Be careful. Yes, I will, she said. She dashed out toward the door, only to see that she couldn't get the door to open. Suping opened the door for her. To her surprise, the store looked different, more spacious, and more elegant. What's this about? Oh, I raided the store while you were out, Suping answered. We've made money, right? I thought it was high time we dolled up the store. That makes sense, Tang Ryuan thought. Suping could make the pets become amazing and he did charge princely sums for his services. Still, the customers saw it as money well spent. Suping had a stunning daily revenue that no other pet store could compare to. Only the franchise stores operating in major base cities under famous brands could have revenues close to what the Pixie Pet store made. Where's the bathroom? Tang Ryuan looked around and asked. I thought you were in a hurry. But I cannot go back with messy hair and a dirty face. Suping pointed the way. Suping summoned the little skeleton while Tang Ryuan went to clean herself up. He patted its skull and told it again what he had said before. The little skeleton nodded. Although its reactions could be seen as slow, it was actually quite smart. Soon, Tang Ryuan came back. She had fixed her hair and cleaned her face. Now and then, there would be a glint of sharpness in her eyes that had not been there before. She might not have realized it herself, but she was becoming more capable and experienced than before. Suping was less worried. This is strange. I think my hair is longer, Tang Ryuan voiced her doubt. Is that so? I didn't notice. My hair is longer. I'm sure of it. Tang Ryuan sounded affirmative. Girls were quite sensitive to the length of their hair. Suping was forced to come up with an excuse. I think it's probably because of the drinking. The alcohol stimulated the female hormones in you, which have in turn made your hair grow. The fact it can happen is proof that you're not resistant to alcohol at all, because you never drank in the past. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Tang Ryuan moved away from the subject. She cast a look at the little skeleton. Are you sure you want to lend the little skeleton to me? Yes. Tang Ryuan was relieved. She would worry less with the little skeleton keeping her company. I shall go then. Tang Ryuan looked into Suping's eyes. She wasn't sure if she would make it back alive. She felt sad. Suping could tell she was having second thoughts. But he was sure that she would be fine with the little skeleton and her improvement. She would only suffer from misfortune if several legendary battle pet warriors were to strike her at the same time. Go. Remember to bring us some souvenirs. Suping was still the ever-heartless creature. Tang Ryuan bit her lower lip and eventually turned away. Tang Ryuan didn't hear anything else from Suping as she reached the door. How disappointing. Although frustrated, she left the store without looking back. She was afraid that he would see the tears in her eyes. So, she kept her head low and walked on, faster and faster. Until she bumped into a lamp post. She covered her forehead, walked around the lamp pole, and went away. Suddenly, she remembered that Suping had promised to lend her the little skeleton. She turned around, and to her great relief, the little skeleton was there with her. She patted its skull. I'll have to rely on you when I get back home. The little skeleton looked at her. The red glow flickered in its eye sockets as if the little skeleton were blinking. Tang Ryuan smiled at the little skeleton. She looked at the store but Suping was not there. Feeling dejected, she went away. Zhao Tang, where are you going? Someone said to her. Tang Ryuan turned to meet the speaker. It was Suping's mom, Li Qingru. Tang Ryuan forced a smile. I'm going back home. Home? Isn't your home far away? Yes, it is. Do you have enough money for transportation? Yes, don't worry. Tang Ryuan stepped away in haste. She only freed herself from that sadness after she left that street. She heaved a sigh and focused her mind on the Tang family. She hailed a cab to get to the train station. I think I had a long dream. While on the way, Tang Ryuan's mind began to wander. She felt she had a long dream but she could not, for the life of her, remember what that dream was about. This would always be the case with her. She would get up and forget the dream. What? Soon, Tang Ryuan noticed something peculiar about herself. Her senses were heightened. She could sense the subtle noises and the energy of battle pet warriors. She noticed that the astral powers inside her were profound. She was not at the 7th rank. It was the 9th rank. What? Tang Ryuan was in shock. Baffled, she asked herself, is there something wrong with my senses? Since when could drinking increase one's rank? She recalled stories she had heard when she was a kid. Rumors had it that people with uncommon constitutions could be awakened after eating certain things and they could find great potential within themselves. For example, some could possess the power of lightning after being struck by lightning, some were able to climb walls after being bitten by spiders. So, Was she one of those people who had uncommon constitutions? Is drinking the trigger? Tang Ryuan opened her eyes wide in exaltation. She got drunk once and she had climbed 2 ranks. How amazing. If that was the case, she was the luckiest. She could not help but burst into loud laughter. Ha, ha, ha. Hiss. The taxi driver suddenly swerved the wheel. Terrified, he glared at the crazy woman sitting at the back seat through the rearview mirror. He reached toward his phone, thinking about calling the police. There's a crazy person in my car. What do you think you're doing? All of a sudden, the laughter stopped. Tang Ryuan grabbed the driver's seat and pulled herself closer to him. She could sense that the driver was up to no good. She couldn't tell why she had that feeling, but she did sense this. Out of pure instinct, she unleashed her killing intent and she didn't even realize she had done so. Her hair was dancing, gradually taking the shape of machetes. A ghost. The driver screamed. With a bang, the car bumped into the railings. Tang Ryuan stepped out of the car. As she stared at the smoking car, she wondered if the driver had been obsessed with her because of her beauty. She shook her head. She was still happy about her big improvement. Some had stopped their cars, surrounding the car crash scenes. Amid people's stares, she tried to unleash her astral powers, and then, off the ground she went. Whoosh! She was flying. She wasn't dreaming that. She opened her eyes wide in disbelief. She was a titled battle pet warrior. The onlookers were surprised. That driver was surely courting death, having crashed the car when a titled battle pet warrior was a passenger. Excited, Tang Ryuan flew onward. Whoosh! She disappeared from the spot. Oh, crap, I forgot to tell her. Pixie Pet Store. Soon after Tang Ryuan left, Su Ping thought of something. He patted his head. She must be curious about her rank. I forgot to tell her. I wonder if she has already left the base city. Su Ping called her at once. She answered her phone. All he could hear was her wild laughter. That sounded all too familiar. She would act like that when she was in the cultivation site. Has she gone nuts again? He wondered. Ha, 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 listen up, my dear boss, I am at the titled rank. Tang Ryuan shouted. Su Ping could hear the wind on the phone. He supposed she was flying at the moment. He pictured how a girl was flying around, laughing like a deranged person. The image made him shudder. Listen up, I'm a super genius. I have a special constitution. I cannot believe that I can become stronger by drinking. Ha, ha, ha. Don't you envy me? Tang Ryuan screamed. Su Ping curled his lips. The girl needs to see a doctor. Su Ping interrupted her. Listen, I transferred some of my astral powers so that you could improve. Get your head right. I called to tell you this. Her laughter came to an abrupt stop. Chapter 555 Secret Weapon. Are you sure about that? Tang Ryuan finally found her voice, although trembling. Of course I'm sure. Why else do you think you rose in rank so quickly? Su Ping answered with a question. But I've never heard of anyone who could do that. You're not lying to me, are you? Tang Ryuan was still suspicious. No, I'm not. Su Ping sounded sincere. I would never lie to you. There are tons of stuff you don't know from this world. Do you think of me as a liar? Yes, I do. Then I want to break off our relations. After a moment, Su Ping heard Tang Ryuan's voice again. You imparted your astral powers to me. Will that harm you? Will your rank drop? You don't have to worry about that. Go and deal with the mess in your Tang family, answered Su Ping casually. Tang Ryuan said nothing in reply. The call was hung up. She looked down at the street from the sky, the small dots that were vehicles and people. She felt the surging astral powers inside her. Tang Ryuan bit her lips. He had offered a great help to her and yet he still managed to sound nonchalant. That guy. Always pretending to be distant. She took a deep breath and opened a swirl in the sky. She had a flying pet with a 9th rank bloodline but was still at the 8th rank. Since she had become a titled battle pet warrior, she could ride her flying pet and fly back home across the wilderness. That would allow her to fly in a straight line, and thus be able to get home faster. Whoosh! The swirl opened and a multicolor-crested bird came out. Tang Ryuan hopped onto the back of the bird and put the little skeleton on the bird as well. Tang Ryuan told her pet to fly away at full speed. It's strange. I think I have an extra pet. As she sat on the back of her pet, to her surprise, Tang Ryuan noticed that there was an unfamiliar consciousness in her mind. Like her other pets, that consciousness was sleeping so she didn't notice it before. What is that? Did I pick up a pet when I was out of it? How so? She didn't remember signing a contract with any pet. Was it? Did Su Ping give me the pet when I was drunk? She tried to summon the pet. Soon, that consciousness woke up and answered her call. She gained a close feeling to that consciousness immediately, and that would only happen with contracted pets. It is my pet. But what is it? Curious, Tang Ryuan summoned a pet. From the swirl poured out a stressful energy. A pair of dark, golden eyes opened and gazed at Tang Ryuan, who was standing outside the swirl. Tang Ryuan could hardly believe it. A Beast King? She established eye contact with the Beast King. Her heart was racing. She felt her blood was boiling. It was as if she were getting excited uncontrollably. Was it because of this Beast King? That was not the most important question right then. She was sure that Suping was behind this. He was the only one who would give out Beast Kings left and right. No one else could afford that. She closed the swirl. Thrilled, she dialed Suping's number. Her number was still in service, as she had yet to leave the base city's territory. "Did you give me a Beast King?" She blurted the question right out. Suping was taken aback by that question. He slapped his head. "Ah, I forgot to tell you. Yes, I captured a Beast King for you. It's a good one, be sure to treat it nicely." Tang Ryuan was full of mixed feelings. Surprise wasn't added to that mixture, only Suping could give away Beast Kings like this. But, did she deserve it? Was she worth it? After a moment of silence, she murmured, "If I can get back, I will repay your kindness." "Of course you will. I'm counting on you to come back and clean the store's waste." Suping gave her a perfunctory response and ended the call. He had just happened to capture that Beast King, which was merely at the ocean state. He didn't want to waste an enhanced advanced beast catching ring on that Beast King, so he thought he might just as well give it to Tang Ryuan. It was suitable for her. A 9th-rank battle pet warrior could sign a contract with Beast Kings of the ocean state. Suping would save the beast catching rings for Fate State Beast Kings. Those creatures were the ones that would earn him more money. Tang Ryuan bit her teeth. She wasn't upset because of Suping's attitude. She simply realized that there wasn't anything she could give to repay him, considering his strength and status. That was the hardest thing for her. "One day, I will catch up with you," Tang Ryuan promised herself. Soon, she reached the Longjian base city border. A person approached her. It was a titled battle pet warrior who was in charge of guarding the border. "Miss Tang, is that you?" The middle-aged man was going to check who was approaching. The fact that it was Tang Ryuan took the middle-aged man aback. He was able to sense that the girl had reached the titled rank. But wasn't she working in Suping's store? How could she have become a titled battle pet warrior at such a young age? Many big shots in the base city knew about Tang Ryuan. After all, she was one of the 2 girls working in Suping's store, and all titled battle pet warriors in the Longjian base city knew Joanna, the legendary battle pet warrior. When the Tang family sent armies to the Pixie Pet store, it caused such a huge sensation that it was impossible to cover that information. People knew that the Tang family went there to ask for the girl to be returned but failed. As for the other girl who went to Suping's store, many titled battle pet warriors collected her information as well, later finding out that she was Suping's student. "Yes." Tang Ryuan nodded to the middle-aged man. "I have to be away for a while." The middle-aged man stepped to the side and said with respect, "Sure thing, sure thing. This way, please." Although he, too, was a titled battle pet warrior, he couldn't afford to be rude to the girl who worked for that legendary store owner. Tang Ryuan felt flattered. In the old days, the only titled battle pet warriors who would treat her with respect were the ones who belonged to the Tang family, and they only respected her because she was the future family head. "Thank you." Tang Ryuan expressed her gratitude and flew away. The middle-aged man noticed the little skeleton on the back of the bird. He told himself that indeed the girl was the store owner's favorite. He had sent his own battle pet to keep her company. How nice. The night ended. Dawn broke. Over the Yadu base city, the darkness of the night was fading away and the light was shining with increasing radiance. However, that was not the light of hope. It merely allowed for people to clearly see the blood and corpses that were hidden in the darkness of the night. The fight was still ongoing. Beasts were howling. The Tang family was still trying to push back the Sichu and Wang families. One night passed. The Tang family remained standing, but it cost them dearly. The once elegant and breathtaking garden had been turned upside down. The lakes and ponds had been tainted red with blood. Humans and beasts' corpses were everywhere. Charge! Battle pet warriors from the 2 sides were fighting at close quarters. Even after one night, the fight was still intense and there was no sign of it reaching an end. Outside the Tang family compound, the Beast King had fallen. The Hill-like Beast King had a huge wound in its stomach. Its internal organs had slipped out. Not far from the dead Beast King there was something like a python, but it was more than 200 meters long with iron-like scales. There were sharp blades on its cheeks. The Python Beast King was lying in a pool of blood. Huge cuts ran across its scaled body. That Beast King had also died. Many titled battle pet warriors from the Tang family were gathered together. Most of them were drenched in blood. They were there with the healers, trying to recover. Tang Linzan wore golden armor. He supported himself with the broken umbrella. He, too, was tainted red with blood. There was a deep wound on his face and the blood had dried up. However, the unhealed wound did give him a hideous look. Tangru Ayu was wearing silver armor, carrying a sharp sword on her back. She looked very tired. The caked blood had turned her hair into a mess. She could still hear the screams and shouts, which meant the battle had yet to end. The sun was rising on the horizon. Light was breaking through the clouds, but it had only illuminated the desperation and fatigue on everyone's faces. They were worn out as if having fought for a year. She had no idea how many members of the Tang family had passed away. She had no idea how many remained standing. There were so many people she was familiar with who had perished, even some were still kids. Many titled battle pet warriors had died as well. On the other hand, the Sichua family and the Wang family still had a large number of warriors hiding at the back, safe and sound. They were taking the slow approach so that they could cut their losses. It wasn't surprising for them to resort to that method. The Tang family would not get any more reinforcements for this battle. The Tang family had asked for aid to all the connections they had and all the titled battle pet warriors that would have offered help were already there. Some of them had died. Some of them were being treated and would re-enter the fight after being healed. Suddenly, a shout came from outside and it was so loud that it traveled across the battlefront and reached everyone's ear in the Tang family compound. Listen up. A person at the peak of the titled rank was talking. Lay down your arms and we'll spare your lives. Those who surrender to us will be granted positions in our families corresponding to your strengths. When the Tang family is gone and the Wang family gets all the resources, our Wang family will be much more powerful. Join us to get better treatment. Those who still want to put up a fight will only be punished with death. The loud shout echoed across the battlefield. Bah! An elder who was having his wounds treated spat out some blood and screamed, alive or dead, I am one of the Tang family. I will not go to another family. You're right. I will be the first to kill anyone who surrenders. The titled battle pet warriors shouted viciously. Surrendering? That was just a ruse for the Wang and Sichua families to cut losses. Once the Tang family went down, none of their members would be spared, whether surrendering or not. Tang Linzhen was furious. He clenched the umbrella in his hand. The umbrella had lost its glow. It was hard to imagine it had been the Tang family's protection. Lying next to the umbrella was a corpse. It had once been the seventh elder of the Tang family, the one who Tang Linzhen trusted the most, the one who Tang Linzhen had killed with his own hands. Tangru Ayu had previously informed him that something was wrong with the umbrella. But it turned out that the umbrella itself was not broken. The seventh elder didn't have the strength to destroy a legendary artifact yet. It was the ocean umbrella's container that was off. The safe had a problem. The keys were missing and the combination lock had been broken. The safe couldn't be opened. That container was quite strong and Tang Linzhen exerted great strength to pry it open. Since opening the case made him waste some time, dozens of titled battle pet warriors died while fighting against the Beast King. Tang Linzhen killed 2 Beast Kings in a row, once he was able to get the ocean umbrella, stunning the Sichua family and the Wang family. They had heard rumors about the strength of the Tang family's ocean umbrella. But they had only realized the truth when they witnessed the deaths of 2 Beast Kings. After catching a breath, the Sichu and Wang families threw themselves back into the fight. But the energy of the ocean umbrella had been exhausted. Being a titled battle pet warrior, Tang Linzhen was unable to tap into the full potential of the legendary artifact. Killing 2 Beast Kings was the best that he could do. He had used up the energy stored in the umbrella, rendering it useless. Humphrey, you fools. Outside the Tang family compound, the family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family wore grave expressions. The Tang family turned out to be tougher than they had imagined. They failed to conquer the Tang family even after one night had passed. The Tangs had received more reinforcements than they had imagined. They had carefully calculated the Tang family's strength before they initiated the attack, including the number of titled battle pet warriors they had, including those who could be invited to lend a hand. When the battle broke out, the Sichus and the Wangs noticed that the Tang family had mobilized some hidden connections they didn't know of. Some very well-known titled battle pet warriors were connected to the Tang family, but no one knew about it. Those titled battle pet warriors went to help the Tang family. They were so determined that they would even die for them. The Tang family was more resourceful than they thought. The strength of the Tang family's ocean umbrella was also beyond their expectation. The Sichus and the Wangs thought that the umbrella was not going to work. It was rumored to be able to stop Beast Kings, but it couldn't offer any help when 2 Beast Kings were charging together. However, the 2 Beast Kings ended up dying. Damn it. This lair of the Tang family is unbreakable. The Yadu base city is working with the Tang family as well. Both the city and the family deserve to die. The family head of Sichua family cursed. The Sichua family and the Wang family had reserved some strength. After all, Apart from the three contending families, there was another ancient family who wasn't involved in the fight. No one could say for sure whether that fourth family, the most scheming among them, would sneak and attack their families while they fought against the Tangs. As the saying went, the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the aureole behind them. As such, the Sichua family and the Wang family had kept some of their forces back at home. Both families devoted half of their forces. They should have overpowered the Tang family, together with the two Beast Kings. However, the two families had suffered great casualties. We'll have to take out our secret weapon. The family head of the Wang family was more composed. His counterpart was hesitating. The secret weapon won't aid us in the future if we do that. It's a one-time thing. Are you sure we want to waste the chance on the Tang family? That was against his wishes. The secret weapon had strong powers, but it was disposable. It would be best if it could be saved for the future. The person who gave us the secret weapon never meant for us to save it. Also, say we do, how would our two families split it? The Wang family head gave a meaningful glance. The Sichua family head heaved a sigh eventually. Let's do it then. A beast stepped out under his command. That vicious tiger carried an ancient-looking bell on its neck. The Sichua family head stepped over, picked up the bell, and walked to the dilapidated Tang family compound. As he stared at the battlefield, the Sichua family head poured out his astral powers and slapped the bell. The bell's opening was facing the Tang family compound. A sonic wave was blasted out. There were invisible ripples in the air. With a bang, an area in the Tang family territory suddenly caved in. Bang. Clap. Many titled battle pet warriors were resting in that area. Caught off guard, they almost fell. The healers, on the other hand, did fall into the pit. Blood was oozing out from their eyes and noses. What was that? Tangru Ayu sprang up to alert. She reacted quickly, and used astral powers to hold herself up. It was a narrow escape from dropping to her knees. Was that a tremor in space? Tanglinson was mildly affected. A glow rose from that broken umbrella and protected him. That strange feeling alerted him. He had met legendary battle pet warriors before and he knew one thing or two about their means. He had recognized that space disturbance. Of course, the bell was the cause. Charge. The Sichua family head felt sorry as he stared at the broken bell. Still, that was a hard-earned chance. He shouted and took the lead to run forward. Whoosh. Behind him was the Wang family head. He couldn't have stayed at the back. He knew that such an attitude would upset the Sichua family head. The two family heads dashed forth with their titled battle pet warriors and killed many Tang family disciples standing in their way. They forced their way into the Tang family compound. Many Tang family disciples had been wounded because of that bell and sonic blast. They quickly gave in, having no ability to fight back. Tang Linzhen, here we come. Instantly, the family heads had reached the rear of the Tang family compound. They could already see the titled battle pet warriors that were still resting there. Chapter 556 Tangryu Ian's Might Tang Linzhen, do you surrender to us, the Sichua family? The Sichua family head was a bit afraid of that ocean umbrella that Tang Linzhen still carried. The umbrella had enabled him to kill two beast kings. It was terrifying. Still, the ocean umbrella appeared to be broken and gray at the moment. Its energy must have been exhausted. Surrender to you? Tang Linzhen was still trying to catch his breath. But he stood up straight and fatigue ebbed out of his face with those words. Killing intent was getting a hold of him. I don't think the Sichua family deserves to have me, Humphrey. Since you're so eager to drop dead, let me grant that wish. The Sichua family head sneered. He looked past Tang Linzhen, at the many titled battle pet warriors of the Tangs. They were struggling to stand up, however, they were unable to do so because of their wounds or possibly due to other reasons. Only the titled battle pet warriors who weren't affiliated to the Tang family could manage to stand. The secret weapon means that anyone who has Tang blood in their bodies will have to deal with space confinement. Now, do you still want to continue this fight? He carried on coldly. Anyone who wishes to surrender can sit down. The Tang family has reached the end. Do you still want to follow your stupid family head who would hurt himself while in cultivation? Shut up. We will not allow you to insult our family head. Some elders bellowed. They managed to stand up, stirred up by anger. They were biting their teeth so hard that their mouths were bleeding. The elders who were too seriously wounded bore the Sichua family head with their glares. They shouted as they tried to stand up. We would rather die standing up than live sitting down. A female titled battle pet warrior cried. She had a broken arm and her clothes were drenched in blood. But she found the strength to stand up on her feet with the help of others. Her eyes were glued to the two enemy family heads. Courting death. The Wang family head snorted. He waved his hand and motioned at her. The titled battle pet warriors standing behind him charged toward the Tang family's titled battle pet warriors. Squish. A narrow penetrated one of the Tang family's titled warriors. That arrow pierced through his chest and his armor. Still in disbelief, that titled battle pet warrior fell to the ground and died. The other titled warriors of the Tang family were heartbroken. They could hardly move given the spatial pressure, not to mention attacking their enemies. Die. A titled battle pet warrior of the Sichua family swung his sword at a Tang family elder. Furious as the latter was, he was unable to move. He immediately summoned his battle pet. Roar. The pet bellowed, but also collapsed the next second. The space confinement had made it hard to move about. That secret weapon was designed to target those who carried the blood of the Tangs. The battle pets had rubbed off some of the Tang family energy on them as well. The titled battle pet warrior of the Tang family was eventually beheaded. Roar. His battle pet witnessed the death of his master. It was losing its mind. Soon, that anger changed to confusion as the contract vanished. The beast shed tears, even though it was baffled by the sense of loss. The beast didn't understand where the anger came from, nor why it was crying. It sat on the ground, staring blankly at the small human being that was lying next to it. Bang. Bang. Titled battle pet warriors of the Sichua family and the Wang family were killing the Tang family's titled battle pet warriors one after the other. As more and more of their peers died, some of the titled battle pet warriors chose to sit down. Fear was written across their faces, begging was the only choice to take at the moment. Roar. Right then, the other titled battle pet warriors who weren't part of the Tang family went to the rescue. They were unaffected since their blood was different. The assault from the two families was stopped. A bunch of outsiders. Do you really want to die for the sake of the Tang family? The Sichua family had snorted. One of the titled battle pet warriors said powerfully, I owe my life to Tang Linzhen and I shall repay his kindness with my life. He's right. We may die but we shall no longer have any regrets. Another titled battle pet warrior backed him up. They had remained up to that point. Leaving had never crossed their minds. Death? Of course, they were afraid of dying. But the thing that frightened them the most was to make a choice they would regret for the rest of their lives. They had to repay the kindness and sometimes, that would mean they would have to give up their lives in the process. Their words touched the Tang family's titled battle pet warriors and shamed those who had sat down. They lowered their heads, afraid to take another look at the world. Tang Linzhen was trembling. So many people were dying, people he had once chatted with, laughed with, and protected the Tang family with. One of them was planning to celebrate his grandson's first birthday after that. One of them was going to go to his son's wedding but they had died. Died. Even though they were titled battle pet warriors, they were as vulnerable as a withered flower. Tang Linzhen's hands were shaking. He was furious, in pain, and powerless. He could see that doom was at hand. He had lost all hope. Tang Linzhen, I can consider not killing the rest of your Tang family members if you're willing to get down on your knees and admit defeat. The Wang family head stepped forward. Tang Linzhen trembled. He was itching to charge, to shout, and to vent his anger on him. But he held down that urge. He knew that doing that would only add more fire to the flames. None of the Tang family members would survive. Sir, no. We don't go by the Tang surname, but we'll live and perish with the Tang family. Sir, we're here and we're always ready to sacrifice ourselves for the Tang family. The titled battle pet warriors who arrived from other base cities shouted. They summoned their battle pets, putting themselves between the Tang family and the Sichua Wang front. Still, anyone could tell that the Sichua family and the Wang family had greatly outnumbered the Tang family. They had close to 5 dozen titled battle pet warriors. Those titled battle pet warriors alone could have surrounded the Tang family compound. The Tang family might have been able to inflict some harm on their enemies but that would be a limited result. Tang Linzhen looked around. The sunlight cast a warm feeling onto his face, but he felt as cold as ice at the moment. When all hope was lost, no light could bring him true warmth. He could only see darkness. The darkness that he saw in the armors of the Sichu and the Wang people. The darkness was all too suffocating. Eventually, Tang Linzhen lowered his head. He bent his back. He curled his knees. He got down on one knee. Sir. No, you cannot. All the Tang family's titled battle pet warriors and everyone else was screaming. Some of them even burst into tears. The Tang family leader, the one who had been controlling the Tang family for more than a dozen years, a king both feared and revered. How could he kneel? Father. Tang Ruayo turned pale. This time, she didn't call him sir. She called him father. She would rarely address him as father in public. She would do that when she was a kid but she was told not to. He is my father. Why can't I call him that? That is our rule. After several occasions and rounds of severe punishment, she compromised and never called him father in public again. And yet, the sorrow and grief had drowned her at this moment. She was letting go of the rules. Tang Linzhen didn't look back. His 2 knees were on the ground. No one was shouting anymore. They stared at the man on his knees. Tang Linzhen moved his lips. It seemed that he was speaking to the Wang family head and all the people behind him. He spoke with a low voice, "I'm not kneeling because of your powers, but because of them." The Wang family head could barely hide his smug smile. "Of course, I know that. However, you have to understand that people will only see you kneeling. No one cares about the reason." He waved his hand. A titled battle pet warrior stepped over. He was holding a device and the image showed Tang Linzhen on his knees. Tang Linzhen suddenly looked up. The killing intent was screaming to escape from his body. Thanks to this video, I think we'll have an easy time taking over the Tang family's properties after your death. After all, why would anyone fight back when you're on your knees? The Wang family head grinned and put away the device. Bang! Tang Linzhen stood up. He was going to snatch that device away from the Wang family head. The two titled battle pet warriors standing next to the Wang family head moved faster. They smashed Tang Linzhen away. Tang Linzhen could barely move, let alone fight, all because of the bell's effect. Listen up. Kill all of the Tang family members. Kill also those who came to support the Tang family. The Wang family head ordered. The Sichua family head grinned. How laughable to see Tang Linzhen kneeling, with the hope of saving lives. How innocent. Tang Linzhen's kneeling meant nothing to them. It wasn't necessary to satisfy their ego. They simply wanted the Tang family's wealth. Nothing else mattered. Sir. Two of the titled battle pet warriors who volunteered to help the Tang family helped Tang Linzhen up. Tang Linzhen was panting, his face was flushed. This girl is the future family head of the Tang family. Father, can you let me have some fun with her? A young man stepped out from the crowd. Standing next to the young man was a demon pet that was several meters tall, with indistinguishable limbs. A ball of dark mist covered up the pet. Only its fangs could be seen. They implied the pet's desire to feed. Tang Ruyu was furious. She knew that the young man was the future family head of the Sichu family. He was merely at the 7th rank and he wouldn't have been able to best her under normal conditions. However, she was still under the influence of that strange pressure. She couldn't even stand up. Don't do this. Kill her directly, the Sichua family head said coldly. Of course, he wanted his son to have that girl as his toy but decided not to see new problems cropping up, given that the Wang family was present. The young man sounded disappointed. Such a shame. But, I do have to say that destroying beauty is also among my favorite activities. He didn't move, but the demon pet suddenly cracked its mouth open as it moved toward Tang Ruyu. Tang Ruyu tried to get away but it was as if she were stuck in a swamp, she could not move at all. On the other hand, the demon pet had moved so quickly that it had almost reached her. I have to live. Tang Ruyu shouted to herself. She was going to lead the Tang family and make it the most powerful family of all in the subcontinent district. She was going to reach the legendary rank. She wanted to see the world outside the blue planet. She wanted so many things. She had dreams unfulfilled. Am I going to die? Because of a piece of scum like him? PFF. The demon pet opened its mouth and light disappeared around Tang Ruyu. However, the next second, a crack opened in the darkness, and Tang Ruyu saw blood pouring down. The demon pet was split in two. Right from the middle. A cloud of dark smoke was rising from the corpse as if the demon pet were burning. It screamed and cried, gradually turning into nothingness. No one could utter a word. How can you wipe out the Tang family while I'm not here? People heard a cold voice. Surprised, they raised their heads. In the sky, a bird was hovering, although trembling. Standing on the back of the bird was a quite tall and slim one. People were unable to see her look but the strange thing was, they were able to see her eyes, which were cold as ice. The ice had made them feel a chill. Whoosh! The bird went back into a swirl. As the bird went away, the slim person and a white skeleton were left hanging in the air. Is that who I think she is? Some titled battle pet warriors of the Tang family soon managed to see what she looked like, taking them by surprise. It was her. Tang Linzhen was just as astonished as anyone else was. What is she doing here? The family heads of the Sichu and Wang families recognized that the girl was the former future family head of the Tang family. It wasn't surprising that they would know how she looked. But they had heard she had been kidnapped by someone and the Tang family had unsuccessfully gone to save her. Why was she there? It is you. Tang Ruyu was dumbstruck. My useless sister? Wasn't she? Whoosh. Amid questioning looks, Tang Ruyu slowly landed. She glanced over at the Sichua family and the Wang family, then she saw Tang Linzhen and the others present. She cast a glance at Tang Ruyu, the girl she had just saved, her younger sister, whom everyone considered to be highly gifted. Who are you? A titled battle pet warrior bawled out. She's the future family head, someone answered the question. As she looked at the pool of blood on the ground, Tang Ruyu could barely control her anger. She originally thought that she had stopped worrying about the Tang family. She didn't know she would feel that upset when she saw those familiar faces, so full of despair and weakness. She had also realized that she wasn't afraid of the titled battle pet warriors present. If anything, she despised them. Yes, contempt. She didn't know why she was having that feeling. She just sensed that those people there, the titled battle pet warriors, weren't that big of a deal. I'm not the future family head. I just go by the Tang surname. Tang Ryuian corrected that answer. I see that you mean to destroy the Tang family. How could you leave me out? The Tang family's titled battle pet warriors were having a rush of mixed feelings. The surname of Tang? But you were no longer acceptable as a family member. Tang Linzen wore a cloudy expression. He buried his guilty conscience deep. When Tang Ruayu's senses returned, she shouted angrily, "Why did you come back? What good can you do when you're here alone? The Tang family does not need you. We do not have a place for you in our graveyard." Tang Ruyan turned to her and indifferently, she said, "When I die, I won't be buried with the Tang family. Don't you worry. I won't sully the Tang family." "You." Tang Ruayu clenched her fingers. "You really shouldn't have come back. You really shouldn't." Just then, she noticed that Tang Ruyan was the one who killed that demon pet. Tang Ruayu still remembered when the two of them would train together and she would follow her around like a tail. How things had changed. She wasn't that small tail. The big sister she had once looked up to had become her mask, her cover. She was the actual future family head. Her big sister had let down the elders and their father. That included the heavy loss of the Tang family because of that big sister. According to their father, anyone who brought insult to the Tang family was a loser, a shame to the family. But why would you come back? You're not accepted here. You're still named Tang Ryuyan, but you're no longer one of us. Yes, indeed, we forgot about you. I can only oblige, now that you've come here willingly. A titled battle pet warrior of the Sichua family sneered. What a pitiful girl. I heard that she was just a decoy. Now I see that she's a decoy with no brains. Let me take care of her. One man stepped forward. He was bored with all the talking. The Sichua family head didn't move to stop that man. He was frowning. He knew that Tang Ryuyan was just a decoy for Tang Ruayu. But would she be that stupid in reality, that she would show up by herself to send herself to her doom? He tried to check if there was some sort of an ambush. The Wang family head was doing the same thing. Neither minded Tang Ryuyan. What mattered was the hidden hazard. Neither believed that Tang Ryuyan would be that stupid. They too would be even more foolish if they allowed her to fool them. The Wang family head had another concern. He had heard a thing or two about that decoy. It was said that some legendary battle pet warrior had taken her in. He had learned this from the Star Organization. But it was unlikely that the girl had escaped from that legendary battle pet warrior. Such being the case, she had to be there under permission. Or maybe, that legendary battle pet warrior was there with her. After all, no one understood why that legendary battle pet warrior had caught her. Was it her beauty or something else? Be careful, the Wang family head cautioned the Sichua family head. The latter was alerted. He thought of the same thing. If that legendary battle pet warrior was watching in the dark, would they anger him if they struck Tang Ryuyan? While they were considering that possibility, that titled battle pet warrior had already dashed toward Tang Ryuyan. Look out! Tang Ryu cried out. The Tang family's titled battle pet warriors were also worried. They recognized that the titled battle pet warrior was an elder of the Sichu family. The elder was not the most powerful one, but he was at the upper position of the titled rank. Killing Tang Ryuyan would be child's play. The Tang family members were still under the influence of that strange bell. They could barely use their astral powers. Tang Ryuyan looked at that old man. He's so careless, he didn't even summon his battle pet. What a fool. Mistake. 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 So many mistakes. One glance and she had noticed more than a dozen mistakes. And he wanted to kill her? Go to hell. Tang Ryuyan remained standing on the spot. The old man reached her and pointed the blade at her. But to her, it was all in slow motion. She wielded her sword. 1 second later, she was done. PFF. That titled battle pet warrior fell, turning into several pieces. His head, his body, and his limbs were chopped. He was killed. It was so quick that people were hardly able to tell whether Tang Ryuyan had moved at all. Blood was gushing out from the remains. Some of the blood got onto Tang Ryuyan and the little skeleton as well. How unexpected. Tang Ryu froze on the spot. She stared in disbelief at the girl she was so familiar with, and so unfamiliar with at the same time. Is that really Tang Ryuyan? My loser big sister? The Tang family's titled battle pet warriors and everyone else were dumbstruck. The old man died before they could tell why. What was that? Those at the peak of the titled rank did notice it had been Tang Ryuyan's doing, but she was so fast that even they found it frightening. Her speed should belong to those at the peak of the titled rank. Chapter 557 Multiple strikes. The miserable death of that old titled battle pet warrior astonished both the Sichua family and the Wang family. Instant kill? But that old man was at the upper tier of the titled rank. He didn't summon his battle pets. But no one believed that a man like that would need a battle pet to fight against a little girl. Be careful. She is at the titled rank. An elder of the Wang family warned the others, frightened. That warning silenced all of them. Tang Ruyan was at the titled rank? Tang Ruyu stared at her sister in disbelief. She is at the titled rank? Since when? Tang Ruyu was sure she had always cultivated faster than her loser sister, and that was why she had been secretly groomed to be the future family head. And yet, she was merely at the 8th rank. Even so, she was beheld as one of the Tang family's rarest talents. Tang Ruyu remembered Tang Ruyan had merely been at the 7th rank. When did she reach the titled rank? The other Tang family elders looked at each other in speechless astonishment. The girl they had agreed upon to banish had returned at that critical time. She was fighting for the Tang family and was at the titled rank. The elders used to believe they knew everything about Tang Ruyan. A titled battle pet warrior at the age of 23. She could leave a mark in the history of the subcontinent district. She was a genius. The family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family had also noticed that. They were sure that Tang Ruyan was at the intermediate position of the titled rank. It was strange. They worked up a theory. Maybe that decoy was the actual future family head and that girl on the ground was the actual decoy. A lie within a lie within a lie. If that theory were true, then the rumors about Tang Ruyan were probably untrue. Or maybe, the Tang family had released such information on purpose. That legendary battle pet warrior probably didn't kidnap Tang Ruyan. It was possible that the Tang family approached that legendary battle pet warrior and asked him to teach their future family head. The two family heads were increasingly convinced of the theory. If the Tang family was willing, they could afford the money and resources to ask a legendary battle pet warrior to teach their future family head. It seemed that the legendary battle pet warrior had to be seriously teaching her, instead of fooling her. After all, their previous intel described Tang Ruyan as one at the 7th rank. Still, she had reached the titled rank in such a short time. How sudden. I wonder if that legendary battle pet warrior is here. The family heads of the Sichu and Wang families could see the fear in each other's eyes. They found it hard to believe that the legendary battle pet warrior wouldn't be there. Why else would Tang Ruyan show up? The Tang family had gone through so many troubles to keep her identity hidden, and to make sure that she would be neglected. Coming out alone wasn't courageous. It was downright rash. The Tang family would not allow a rash person to become their future family head. The Wang family head passed a look in his eyes to the Sichua family head. It was a look that only the latter would understand. The latter nodded ever so slightly, so that no one else would notice. He secretly placed one hand behind his back and a message was sent. When he placed his hand down, the Sichua family head inwardly breathed in relief. Glaring coldly at Tang Ruyan, he said, "Since you've come out of your free will, I will make you stay here forever. Charge." As soon as the word came out from his mouth, several titled battle pet warriors stepped out together. Those titled battle pet warriors were all at the upper position. Tang Ruyan's stunning performance had shocked many, and some titled battle pet warriors failed to see how she had done it. That being said, she was still at the titled rank. On the other hand, the Sichua family and the Wang family had dozens of titled battle pet warriors. Not even Venerable the Blade would be able to get away from such a strike, not to mention Tang Ruyan, who was merely at the intermediate position of the titled rank. The 4 titled battle pet warriors that stepped toward Tang Ruyan glared at her. This time, they summoned their battle pets from the start. The ground shook as the battle pets landed. The 4 elders of the enemy families were moving toward Tang Ruyan, which enraged the people of her family. It was true that they still thought she had been able to kill that old man because of the element of surprise. After noticing Tang Ruyan's rank, those of the Tang family thought they could finally see hope. If Tang Ruyan was able to escape, she could later find the young members of the Tang family who were hiding in different places. The Tang family would not die. There would still be a future for the Tang family. How shameless. You're targeting a kid. 4 against 1. Bah. Have you no shame? So, this is what the elders of the Sichua family are like. The Tang family's titled battle pet warriors swore and cursed. That was the only thing they could do, considering that they couldn't move at all. The 4 elders were unhappy because of the verbal abuse. Angry as they were, they didn't dally and chose to ignore them for the moment. They merely promised themselves that once they dealt with Tang Ruyan, they would make things so miserable for those guys that they would wish they were dead. Charge! One of the elders shouted. Bang, bang. Their battle pets stomped on the ground and dashed forward. Roar. Running at the front was a dragon that had a roar that could deafen people. 2 battle pets of the element family were casting a spell on the dragon to make it almost weightless. The flames were burning intensely around the dragon. The dragon opened its mouth and breathed out a column of fire. The high temperature turned the place into a lava land. The trees that were thousands of meters away were burning up. The battle pet warriors hurried to put up their shields to protect themselves against the high temperature. The heat would scorch them to death if they didn't. Ryuian. Tang Linzen struggled to stand up. Tang Ryuian was the last bit of hope the Tang family had. He could not see her die. It shamed him to see she had returned at such a critical time when the Tang family had abandoned her. The column of fire was about to reach her, but then it split into two in front of Tang Ryuian the next second. The split fire burned through the Tang family members standing on the sides. All the advanced battle pet warriors touched by the flames died without any exceptions. What? The titled battle pet warriors could not believe that Tang Ryuian had been able to survive. That was the dragon's signature move, not to mention that 2 battle pets of the 9th rank had helped. How did she survive it? Soon, people realized that it wasn't Tang Ryuian who defeated the strike, but the white skeleton. Before anyone had noticed, that insignificant skeleton had stood in front of Tang Ryuian. What was even more stunning was that the white skeleton had not done anything other than stand there, and yet the column of fire had been split into 2. What is that skeleton? The 3 families shared the astonishment. Tang Ryuian, too, didn't expect that the little skeleton would stand up so quickly. She was ready to fight that column of fire by herself. She could tell that the column of flame would not hurt her because she had ascertained its weakness. Of course, she had saved some strength since the little skeleton had stepped up. Die. Tang Ryuian uttered a word. A coldness was spreading within her that cleared her mind. She dashed toward the flames. The sword she held was like death's scythe. PFF. There was a dark, arched blur in the air. The flames were cut off. A ray of black sword light smashed into the dragon's chest. The flames around the dragon went away and blood came out. In pain, the dragon cried. It stepped back. The wound on its chest was so deep that the bones were visible. Once again, people were able to see Tang Ryuian. She was standing on the wailing dragon. She's so fast. I cannot believe it. Was that shadow tracing? The people of the Sichua family and the Wang family were frightened by that speed and strength. The shock was not exclusive to the 2 families. The Tang family members recognized the shadow tracing, one of the 3 most famous skills of the family. The shocking thing was that she was moving much faster than they ever could with the skill. The shadow reacher. Tang Linzen thought this was beyond his understanding. He was quickly able to tell that Tang Ryuian had reached the peak of shadow tracing. She would be as fast as a shadow. But shadows didn't move on their own. The name was just an indication that she was as fast as light. Of course, that was just a saying, an exaggeration. Still, the analogy could show how fast was the speed achieved. Tang Linzen himself had only mastered the skill when he was at the peak of the titled rank. That was 10 years before, and he had been in his 30s at the time. But Tang Ryuian is barely 23 and she has already reached the peak? While Tang Linzen was still in shock, Tang Ryuian had made another move. Her target wasn't the dragon under her feet, but the 4 titled battle pet warriors of the Sichu family. Blood. Killing. Redness came into her eyes. She did not notice herself, but the killing intent coming off from her was stunning. She was like a demon that had emerged from hell. She stepped on the air, then she gathered her energy on her sword and swung at the 4 titled battle pet warriors when she was about 100 meters away from them. The sword of blood. Bang. The world died down because of that sword. Demons were crying. The only thing people could see was that ray of light of a bloody color. The light came off from the sword. It was so glaring and so red that it was as if someone had used tons of blood to generate the light. The foul smell made even the most experienced fighters want to puke. I don't believe this. One of the 4 titled battle pet warriors unleashed his full strength and resorted to a secret skill, double fist. He punched at the sword. There were 4 noises in a row. The 4 titled battle pet warriors of the Sichua family came to an abrupt stop, and they fell to pieces in less than 2 seconds. It was as if time bombs buried in them had gone off at once. They were reduced to pieces of flesh. No one was able to utter a single word. One move and 4 titled battle pet warriors perished. The Sichua family head could not convince himself that he had witnessed a brutal slaughter. The Wang family head was just as overwhelmed by disbelief. That was beyond logic. She could have only done that if she were at the peak of the titled rank. How could a girl of the Tang family do this? Not even Tang Linzen could do this. Wait a minute. What about the bell? Has the effect expired? Someone finally noticed that. That was a severe warning. The Tang family elders and Tang Linzen were still unable to stand up. So, the bell's effect was still active. So, this girl was still able to unleash this power when she was under the influence of the bell? People gasped. How terrifying. The Wang family head was the first to bring his senses back online. Who are you really? So he could not believe that the girl would be able to do this, even if she were at the peak of the titled rank. She had to be at the legendary rank. If so, why would Ryuian waste time talking to them? She could just show that she was at the legendary rank and they would have to surrender or flee. But Ryuian didn't do so. The Wang family head didn't think that a legendary battle pet warrior needed to disguise herself. So, the Ryuian fighting had to be an imposter. That was the only reasonable explanation. Why else would the girl possess such powers? You know very well who I am. Ryuian answered, coldly. Stepping on the remains and blood of the 4 titled battle pet warriors, she made her way to where the Sichua family and the Wang family were entrenched. A dark mist surrounded her sword. Humphrey, I don't care who you are because you're going to die today. The Wang family head bellowed, everyone, let's kill her. The titled battle pet warriors could not believe it. All of them against one girl? Come on. The Sichua family head shouted. He was furious because the 4 titled battle pet warriors were from his family. Since the 2 family heads had said so, the others could only obey. Also, what Ryuian had been able to do had turned out to be quite intimidating. Most people trusted that they would not harm the girl in any way. Joining hands would be more like a method to stay alive. Chapter 558 Legend? Instant knockout. Kill her. The many titled battle pet warriors of the Sichua family and the Wang family charged toward Ryuian. The Tang family's people were appalled. Indeed, Ryuian's performance was completely unexpected. That being said, dozens of titled battle pet warriors were going to attack her at the same time. Even a person at the peak of the titled rank would fall. Please, listen to me. For the sake of our friendship, I hope you can help her escape. Your assistance will be much appreciated. Tang Linzhen found the strength to turn around and he addressed the several titled battle pet warriors that were from other base cities. Those titled battle pet warriors had been unaffected by the bell's spatial attack, they could move about at will. As such, Tang Linzhen's hope relied on them. Ryuian was deemed as the Tang family's future, considering the strength she just demonstrated. If Ryuian could get away and cultivate for a few decades, there was a good chance that she could become a legendary battle pet warrior. Say she was unable to reach the legendary rank, merely staying at the peak of the titled rank, she would still be the best among all the warriors of the same rank. She could always come back and take revenge. You don't have to say so, Mr. Tang. We're all willing to repay your past favor with extreme sacrifice. One of the titled battle pet warriors claimed. Exactly. You don't have to ask. Just tell us what to do, you can count on us. The other titled battle pet warriors agreed readily. If they were to help Ryuian get away from the siege, they would have to fight at the cost of their lives. However, since that was what Tang Linzhen needed, they would do so without hesitation. They would fight till the last drop of their blood dried up. That was how they were going to repay Tang Linzhen's kindness. After hearing their words and seeing the determination in their eyes, Tang Linzhen, a man who was always full of schemes and plots, was brought to tears. The fact that those well-known titled battle pet warriors would go to such lengths to repay his kindness was because of the help he had once offered. His help did have a mixture of a scheme in them, but he was sincere for the most part. What he got in return was the titled battle pet warrior's resolution. Tang Linzhen was overwhelmed by a surge of emotions, but he couldn't find words to reply. Standing in front of him was Ryuian, who was holding a dark sword, with hair dancing in the wind. She kept a cold glare at the titled battle pet warriors of the Wang and Sichu families. She wasn't the least bit worried about their strikes. But when she heard Tang Linzhen's words, she began to bite her lip. I hope you can help her escape. Ryuian was filled with sorrow. However, she was determined not to let it show. Even at that moment, Tang Linzhen didn't call her my daughter, or the child of our Tang family, just her. Don't I have a name? Don't I have an identity? You gave me my name, father. So, I summoned all the strength I could and I took the fatal risk to come back, and yet, I couldn't gain your approval. Sorrow was burning her. Ryuian felt a scorching pain in her chest. It was like a hand of flames, squeezing her heart. She bit her lip so that she wouldn't let out a sound. Since she was a kid, her father had told her time and again that she could never be weak, given her position as the future family head. So, she didn't allow herself to be weak. Even at that moment, she would still follow her father's advice and stop herself from feeling sorry. Kill them. Kill them. Ryuian's eyes reddened. Something was bursting out from the bottom of her heart. Killing intent surged out and the sword in her hand was making a slight noise. As if picking up on its master's mind and emotions, the sword produced a thick, dark mist, as if crying for its master. That mist climbed up to Ryuian's arm as if to give her some consolation. The wind was surging. However, as they reached Ryuian, the wind stopped. Above Ryuian's head, Her dancing hair was expanding. Everyone was astounded. What has the girl gone through to be like this? The people of the Tang family were just as startled. They could not believe that was the girl they had known since she was a baby. You. In an inconspicuous corner, Tang was staring at the vicious girl, visibly confused. She was sure that the girl was Tang She would recognize Tang even if she were a pile of ash. She could misidentify her father, but she would never fail to recognize Tang But Tang was no longer the familiar girl she knew. Tang was convinced that the girl was Tang and yet there was nothing familiar about her. Tang had never felt like that before. Kill them. The violent killing intent was screaming to find a way out. Tang raised her head. There were some strange and creepy lines on her face. Her eyes were blood red. She took a step forward. Demon possession. Bang, 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 bang. The moment Tang took that step forward, the titled battle pet warriors of the Sichu and Wang families descended into a momentary daze. Her sudden change was unexpected. The girl seemed to be more intimidating than a battle pet warrior at the peak of the titled rank. An appalling event happened during that momentary daze. A ripping sound was heard amid the many titled battle pet warriors standing in front of Tang Before anyone could notice, Tang was already standing inside the crowd of titled battle pet warriors. She took the initiative to strike them. No one saw how she did it. All they could see was how the titled battle pet warriors of both the Sichua family and the Wang family were bursting into a rain of blood. All of them died within an instant. Horror. The other people were so frightened that their eyes stared woodenly. What is she? No titled battle pet warrior could have done that. The family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family were panic-stricken, but they reacted quickly. The latter shouted, "Take formation. Dragon King slaughtering. End her." The Sichua family head senses came back to life as well. Tang was like a wolf in a pack of sheep. No amount of titled battle pet warriors sent her way would matter. Listen up. Take formation. 7-star prison. The two families' titled battle pet warriors collected themselves. Disregard their panic, they quickly adjusted their positions. After all, they were titled battle pet warriors. They would make the right decision at once after receiving the right reminder. But when the titled battle pet warriors were trying to get into formation, Tang was still waving her black sword and collecting the lives of those titled battle pet warriors. Bang! Many of the titled battle pet warriors died before they could even scream. The armors would be cut through the moment they appeared. The black sword could cut through anything. Roar! Roar! Startled, the remaining titled battle pet warriors quickly summoned their battle pets. Those 9th rank battle pets charged toward Tang in the moment they came out, and they unleashed several different skills at her. The ground was cracking. Spikes were growing out. Lava was flowing. Go to hell. Drop dead. I will protect the Tang family. Tang Ryuin's face was twisted and her voice hoarse. She didn't even sound like a girl. Her moves had become increasingly more violent. Her hair had turned into many machetes that were flying out as she ran around wildly. A 9th rank battle pet of the Rock family reached Tang Ryuin, only to be halved by the hair machetes. The battle pet's scales should have been hard enough to withstand a missile, and yet the scales fell to pieces like paper. Tang Ryuin was running fast by leveraging the shadow tracing skill. She kept on wielding her sword. Anything and anyone that came near her would die instantly. No one and nothing survived. She is terrifying. I don't believe this. Is she at the legendary rank? No, it's not possible. We cannot set the formation. The titled battle pet warriors of the Sichu and Wang families were seized by terror. In a matter of a dozen seconds, Tang Ryuin had murdered more than a dozen titled battle pet warriors. It was as if she were merely chopping vegetables. Those who died had been titled battle pet warriors, for God's sake. Some of them were at the upper position of the titled rank, senior warriors. Still, they had died within one blow. What kind of freak is she, and where does she come from? The titled battle pet warriors who were trying to set the formations were hunted down by Tang Ryuin. She was acting so quickly that they didn't even have time to discuss a plan. Even though they outnumbered her, they, in a state of disorder, were the ones at a disadvantage. The Tang family's battle pet warriors who were still under the containment of the bell's effect were staring, open-mouthed. No one could have anticipated this. One girl overpowering dozens of titled battle pet warriors. They knew the titled battle pet warriors from those two families. They could not believe that they were being routed. Some of the titled battle pet warriors had tried using secret skills, but to no avail. Tang Ryuin would finish them with one swing of her sword. Invincible. Untouchable. Tang Ryuin was like a goddess of war who was overpowering everyone. The titled battle pet warriors who had been intent on helping Tang Ryuin were frozen on the spot. There was no room for them to step in. Was she truly the banished child of the Tang family? They could not answer that question. The family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family stared at the chaos with their mouths agape. Even the two of them were terrified by Tangryu. They were at the peak of the titled rank, and yet, they were being overwhelmed by Tangryu-Ian's momentum. What a terrifying realization. Only a legendary battle pet warrior could terrify them so. However, they clearly knew that Tangryu was at the titled rank. She's a monster. How can she change like that? Is she truly human? Is she a demon in disguise? Damn it. Why isn't he here already? The two family heads were afraid to go over and fight Tangryu themselves. Boom. Boom. More and more titled battle pet warriors were dying. Their battle pets were unable to slow her down, she would kill them to get rid of them directly. No one and nothing could stand in her way. She was like a beast that had been released in the middle of a flock of sheep. Of course, those were not sheep. They were titled battle pet warriors and every single one of them had once drenched their hands in blood. You. Both of you deserve to die. Tangryu gazed at the two enemy family heads. They were the leaders of the two families. They had to be dealt with. Kill. She stepped toward them. To the onlooker, she had been on the spot a second before, then she stood in front of the two family heads the next. Her hair fanned out and turned into 8 machetes that were reaching toward the two enemy family heads. The Sichua family head snarled. He raised an energy shield. In the meantime, a dragon at the peak of the 9th rank appeared before him. It was a Moonfrost dragon. The ground froze as soon as the Moonfrost dragon landed. The goddess of ice shield was being manifested. However, people heard a cracking sound halfway through the shield's activation. The Sichua family head's energy shield had turned into broken pieces as well. Darkness surged. Tangryu held her sword and stood in front of the Moonfrost dragon. The dragon flinched as it looked at the coldness emitted by that pair of red eyes. It was seized by an urge to retreat. Bang! Tangryu ran past the Moonfrost dragon. The Moonfrost dragon's mouth opened, ready to unleash a skill, but that was the last thing it was able to do. The dragon's head fell and the cut on its neck was neat. Its sturdy scales had failed to protect it. The two family heads were horrified as they looked at the dragon's head on the ground. That was a dragon with a peak 9th rank bloodline. As a matter of fact, the dragon had reached the peak of the 9th rank and its combat strength was the best. Still, beheading the dragon was like child's play for Tangryu. What is that sword she's holding, to enable her to cut through dragon scales? Die. Tangryu reached the Sichua family head. She threw herself at him. Terrified, the Sichua family head unleashed astral powers while he took out a bottle. He crushed the bottle, revealing the dark red pellets inside. He was about to take the pellets when he heard a calm voice. No need to panic. That voice sounded arrogant. Tangryu felt she had bumped into an invisible wall the moment the voice was heard. She was thrown back for more than a dozen meters before she stopped. She rolled her eyes and saw that figure gradually appeared in the air. It was an old man in a simple, cyan robe. There was a jade pendant on his belt. He carried a sword that was wrapped in a piece of cloth on his back. The old man seemed to be otherworldly. Tangryu recovered from that moment of confusion. Then, killing intent took hold of her again. A legendary battle pet warrior. The family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family both breathed in relief. They bowed to the old man at once. Lord Zhu. The old man waved his hand, meaning that they didn't need to dwell on formalities. He looked at Tangryu from the corner of his eye. He found her quite interesting. You're at the titled rank but you can still unleash such strength. I have never seen one like you before. No wonder you dared to come alone. Tangryu stared at him. She could not tell why, but she was not afraid, even though she knew he was a legendary battle pet warrior. Get out of the way, she said. The titled battle pet warriors of the Sichu and Wang families were shocked when the old man arrived. After the initial stage of astonishment, to their delight, they realized that the old man was on their side. With a legendary battle pet warrior present, no matter what Tangryu was able to do, she was a dead person already. In the meantime, the battle pet warriors of the Tang family were still staring at the old man in a daze. Tang Linzhen thought of something and the realization left him boiling with anger. Finally, he understood why the Sichua family and the Wang family would join hands to attack the Tang family. The legendary battle pet warrior had surely given them directions. He could not believe that a legendary battle pet warrior would go after his family assets. It was as unethical as an adult meddling when two kids were arguing. Legendary battle pet warrior. I cannot believe this. The Tang family's battle pet warriors were astounded. Even though they didn't know who that man was, given their titled warrior senses, they were sure that the old man was at the legendary rank. He carried an aura that didn't belong to the titled rank. Tangryu felt dejected. Hope was just coming back to her when the coming of that old man had thrown a damp towel over her head. A legendary battle pet warrior was behind the plot against the Tang family. She turned ghastly pale. I'm looking forward to discovering the secrets hidden within you. The old man looked at Tang Ryuan with a smile. For a girl at the intermediate position of the titled rank to be able to use such powers, he could not wait to dig out the mystery within Tang Ryuan. Halfway through his sentence, while he still had a grinning face, people heard the noise of something breaking. The old man's head fell to pieces. Even his eyes popped out from his already torn head. A skeleton's fist was reaching through the bloodied, broken head. Chapter 559 Deterrence Instant Kill. You could even hear a needle drop. A legendary battle pet warrior had died before he could finish speaking. People were still seeing how his head had been crushed and how the blood spilled out as if everything had happened in slow motion. They were so frightened that their mouths hung ajar. A legendary battle pet warrior. Just died? What? All the three families present were in a complete daze. That old man was a legendary battle pet warrior. A legend who had the power to subdue many titled battle pet warriors had been killed. The white skeleton was then covered in red blood. People were still wondering if all of it was just a dream. Where did that skeleton come from? Some people had completely forgotten about the skeleton's existence. Some people still recalled that the skeleton had arrived along with Tang Ryuan. But who would mind that insignificant skeleton? The family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family, who had just breathed a breath of relief, were thrown back into terror again. Sophisticated as they were, it was beyond their ability to hide their astonishment. That people's minds were blank. The appearance of the legendary battle pet warrior had thrown the Tang family's battle pet warriors into another round of depression, right after their spirits had been raised by Tang Ryuan. Still, the legendary battle pet warrior had died even before they found time to weep for a second round of depression. After one punch. A legendary battle pet warrior. He was there for less than half a minute, and he had said so few words. His death was completely unpredicted. What a sudden death. That skeleton. Tang Minking stared at that blood-covered skeleton. He finally remembered it, that nightmare he had experienced before. A spread of coldness crept into his heart. Back at the pet store, there was a skeleton standing next to that young man. Only, that skeleton was black. Since the skeleton present was white, the color difference made Tang Minking fail to make the connection right away. The strength, the skeleton's blood and stature. The two skeletons he had seen merged into one on his mind. There was also one fact, Tang Ryuan had initially been captured by that young man. That was the skeleton he had seen at the store. Did the young man lend the skeleton to Tang Ryuan? No wonder Tang Ryuan was able to come back. Is he here? Tang Minking could not help but look around. He felt that the young man could be hiding in any place lit up by twilight. Tang Minking felt hope was returning. Whether that young man was there or not, the skeleton itself was able to save the Tang family. The skeleton was that young man's representation. Tang Minking didn't understand why that young man was willing to help, but the only explanation he could think of was Tang Ryuan. Tang Minking glanced at the girl who was hovering in the air, the vicious girl. She was even more horrifying than a titled battle pet warrior. What did she have to go through to be like this? He wondered. Tang Minking quickly looked away from her. He felt mortified. Apart from Tang Minking, the other titled battle pet warriors were also full of troubling feelings. They were overjoyed but also humiliated. At the end of the day, they had been saved by the child they had abandoned. Tang Ryuan stared blankly at the beheaded legendary battle pet warrior from the air. She wasn't unaware of Su Ping's skeleton, but she didn't know it would be so outstanding. One punch and the skeleton had killed a legendary battle pet warrior. The legendary battle pet warrior didn't even have the time to react. The skeleton had overpowered him. That was Su Ping's battle pet. The surprise cleared Tang Ryuan's head a bit. She saw the two family heads standing on the ground, looking dazed. She immediately charged toward them. The little skeleton stood still in the air. The little skeleton remembered what Su Ping said. Finish anyone or anything that means to hurt Tang Ryuan. The legendary battle pet warrior had hurt Tang Ryuan as soon as he arrived. So, he died. Whoosh. The family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family were still staring at the headless corpse of the legendary battle pet warrior. Their minds were on strike. A surge of killing intent enveloped them and slapped them back to their senses. They saw Tang Ryuan heading toward them, which instilled coldness into their hearts. Compared to that white skeleton, Tang Ryuan was a bit weaker, but she was a terrifying girl already. Let's go. Kill her. The Wang family head bit his teeth. He and the Sichua family head were unable to run away. That was not a choice for them. Tang Ryuan was too fast thanks to the shadow tracing. The two of them had no time to escape. They would have to face her and kill her. Let's do this. The Sichua family had agreed to the plan. He was ready. Boom. The Wang family had turned his palm, on which appeared a spear that had once instilled fear in many families. That was his blood spear. While the Wang family had prepared his spear, All of a sudden, he felt a wave of pressure coming over him. Scared, he put his hand in front of his chest. Still, he was thrown away for over a dozen meters. Tenryuian had reached him. "Sichu-shou!" the man shouted. His face was wrenched in anger. But the family head called Sichu-shou had already turned around and immediately ran away without looking back. Fighting Tenryuian together? Hell no. He believed they could stop Tenryuian with the Wang family head and the other titled battle pet warriors. But there was that skeleton that had just killed a legendary battle pet warrior. What? That was a dead thing? Well, a skeleton was not exactly a living creature per se. Being a skeleton and all. Anyway, that skeleton was with Tenryuian. Sichu-shou was not sure why Tenryuian didn't order the skeleton to kill them directly, instead choosing to go after them herself. Either way, he could not afford to ignore the skeleton. Even if Tenryuian died, things would not end well with the skeleton still being around. Run. Never in his life had Sichu-shou run faster. He had never heard of such a skeleton. As far as he could tell, that old man they called Lord Zhu was the most powerful human they knew, since he was able to kill a titled battle pet warrior with a move of his finger. Look at how he ended up. The skeleton killed Lord Zhu with a single punch. Even thinking about it gave Sichu-shou the chills. Tenryuian frowned as Sichu-shou ran for his life. If she were to go after him, the other titled battle pet warriors present would still have the chance to hurt the Tang family more. But she didn't want to let go of an enemy like that. "Little skeleton, kill him for me." Tenryuian had to ask for help. However, the little skeleton remained still and didn't answer the call for help. The small skeleton knew it had to protect Tenryuian, but it wouldn't listen to her orders. Tenryuian forced a bitter smile. She understood that the little skeleton only took orders from Su King. She just felt sorry that she didn't spend more time trying to nurture her relationship with the little skeleton while in the store. Anyway, you may run but you cannot hide. Tenryuian had decided a plan. She took her mind off of Sichu-shou and went back to the Wang family head. Damn you. The latter was boiling with anger. That was not the time to be obsessed over Sichu-shou. He had to deal with the imminent crisis. He had no one to turn to and he did not plan on fighting Tenryuian directly. She turned out to be more powerful than all the peak-titled warriors he had ever seen. He believed that a legendary battle pet warrior would have to go through some troubles to kill her. "Cover for me," he shouted. He was going to use the most powerful skill known to the Wang family, Spear Overlord. Bang! He wiggled his spear. Behind him appeared 9 swirls from which climbed out 9 beasts. Wild, crazy beasts. All of them were at the 9th rank, with 3 at the peak and the others at the upper position. They ran past the Wang family head and straight toward Tenryuian. The titled battle pet warriors of the Sichu and Wang families finally understood what was going on. Those of the Wang family were furious since Sichu-shou had left by himself. "Oh, fuck you Sichu family. Go to hell. You will be our sworn enemies now." The titled battle pet warriors of the Wang family could not even begin to describe their anger. The Sichu family and the Wang family had been on good terms. They had become friends and they had planned that joint strike against the Tang family. But, what the Sichu family had done was heartless. The titled battle pet warriors were surprised as well. They knew that they could not find any excuse to defend their family head. There was no need for them to stay since their family head had run away, clearly fearing the skeleton. "Let's go," an elder of the Sichu family said. He enjoyed quite a high status in the Sichu family. The titled battle pet warriors of the Sichu family agreed without the slightest hesitation. "You can't leave. Kill them." In a fit of rage, some of the titled battle pet warriors went to help their family head while others began to beat the titled battle pet warriors of the Sichu family. It was quite chaotic. The members of the Tang family could only stare at that mess. No one could have seen that coming. Some people still kept their eyes glued on the white skeleton. It had instilled fear into the Sichu and Wang families, just by standing in the air. The skeleton's mere presence had turned the two families against each other. "I think I can move now." "Same here." Soon, the Tang family's members felt the pressure on them lessening. Some titled battle pet warriors tried to wiggle and they could move about freely. They could barely stand up a moment before. "Let's work with Tenryuian. Let's stop them from running away." Tanglinzen's ability to move had also returned. He made a prompt decision. He did not worry about the ones who were fighting each other. They would descend into mutual destruction eventually. He was after the ones trying to escape. No one would be able to get away if they worked together with Tenryuian. He believed that the Sichu family and the Wang family would be greatly undermined if he was able to finish all the titled battle pet warriors present. Chapter 560 Father and Daughter Finish It. Urged by Tanglinsen, the Tang family's titled warriors who had just regained their ability to move sprang into action. They bellowed and summoned their battle pets. The three families were in a brawl. The other battle pet warriors of the Tang family had started to hunt down those who were trying to flee. The little skeleton stood unmoving in the air, above all that mess. It simply gazed at the twilight on the horizon, as if thinking. Under the feet of the little skeleton there were beasts and humans running about. Bang! Like a fiend, Tang Ryuan cut off the head of a 9th-rank phoenix. She didn't even stop to wipe off the blood. She pressed forward while bathed in crimson. Behind her, a 9th-rank battle pet breathed out a fire that was about to reach her. She chopped the flames into 2 strands. Bang! She dashed rapidly to meet that battle pet. It died with a wave of her sword. Those battle pets were at the upper position of the 9th rank. They were currently unleashing powers close to the peak of the 9th rank because of the augmentation skills. However, they were vulnerable when compared to Tang Ryuan, who was under the demon possession state. Damn it! Is she also at the legendary rank? The Wang family's titled battle pet warriors, including the family head, were panic-stricken. They were filled with apprehension because of Tang Ryuan. She was like a goddess of revenge that had just come out from hell, and no one was able to stop her. Sir, go. We will stop her. Several Wang family's battle pet warriors shouted. They summoned their battle pets and burned their astral powers. Even if they disregarded that white skeleton, Tang Ryuan alone had robbed them of their hope. They had long forgotten the idea of defeating her. Running was the only choice left. If their family head could escape, the Wang family would survive. The family head clenched his teeth and his fists. He eventually made up his mind and ran off. To aid his elders, the family head didn't summon back his battle pets, except for one rotting wing beast that had a peak 9th rank bloodline. That was a demon pet, and a very powerful one at that. It was said that the beast had once served the Ashura king. The rotting wing beast was the family head's favorite and it had been with him the longest. It was his friend. Run. The family head ran away with wild abandon. He ran faster than he had ever done so in his life. He had to get away at all costs. The moment he ran away for his life was the moment that the strike against the Tang family had failed. The consequences were much graver. The Wang family would have to face tremendous troubles and they would be uprooted from the 4 ancient families. A monster like Tang Ryuan had been lured out because of the strike. No one would stand in the way of the Tang family's development from then on. The Wang family and the Sichua family would have to deal with the Tang family's retaliation. Tang Ryuan and the white skeleton together were enough to flatten any family. He had to run. It wasn't just to save his own skin. He had to get the Wang family ready, evacuate the remaining members of the family and send them to different places, then activate an emergency plan to preserve their future. It was a plan known as the Plan of Winter. That was a plan that could only be activated when the family was in jeopardy. I have to live. The man's eyes reddened. You cannot get away. A Wang family's titled battle pet warrior charged toward Tang Ryuan. He held his spear and he ran with his battle pet. Go away. Tang Ryuan's eyes were red and cold. She was furious since the Wang family head was getting away. The fact that the other family had gotten away had put her in a bad mood. She would not allow that one to get away. Boom. The sword gave off a glaring radiance. A ray of sword light was swept across. Sword of blood. Bang, bang, bang. The pets from the titled warriors were unable to get away, the sword light had them. Blood was surging in their wounds and a bloody mist came out. The bloody mist flowed toward her sword which was absorbing the blood. That titled warrior of the Wang family was thrown away and several people stopped his fall. They were as furious as they were frightened. This girl is a monster. Come on. Let's get into formation. Swampland. One of them said in a hurry. Although shocked all this time, experience kicked in and they were all able to react fast. The other people exchanged eye contact and began to build the formation. That was not some large-scale formation but a famous one for the Tang family. It was a formation that was a natural enemy for the shadow tracing skill of the Tang family, and any accelerating skill for that matter. Boom. Bolts of lightning struck from 4 corners. All those people had pets of the Thunder family. They placed their pets in 4 corners, the beasts would serve as the base for the formation. The battle pets roared as they received their master's orders. Lightning bolts rose from their bodies. The titled battle pet warriors directed the lightning bolts toward themselves and in a few seconds, a formation took place and Tang Ryuan was trapped inside. Tang Ryuan was able to notice the flickering of the lightning bolts in the air, then striking her. Still, they were completely unable to hurt her. However, she could feel that she was being slowed down when she tried to move forward. Something would be triggered whenever she tried to move, and more bolts of lightning would surround her. Tang Ryuan had heard about the Wang family's swampland. People trapped inside would be fine if they remained perfectly still. The faster one moved, the stronger the lightning bolts would be. When titled battle pet warriors were the ones who supported that formation, they could even keep one at the peak of the titled rank inside. Not to mention that all those elders of the Wang family were at the peak of the titled rank. But I don't think it's as strong as people say. Tang Ruyan realized that the lightning strikes were unable to inflict her any harm. If anything, it was just like scratching an itch. So, is this the notorious formation? What an exaggeration. She grinned. She took a step forward and turned her sword over. Bang. The sword light tore open the sea of lightning bolts around her. Oh, gods. One of the titled battle pet warriors was thrown into a panic. He could not believe that Tang Ruyan had been unaffected by that swampland formation. The man wanted to get away, but he would destroy the formation by doing so. The ray of red sword light was approaching. He bit his teeth and his pupils dilated. A battle pet ran over from behind him. Bang. All of that battle pet's shielding and armors failed. The sword pierced through the pet on its chest. Tang Ruyan had seen that old man's face of sorrow through that hole. In the meantime, Tang Ruyan was running toward him. Bang. She wielded her sword. She cut the remaining battle pet into 2 pieces. She dashed over the battle pet and made sure that surprise was the last expression that could ever appear on that man's face. That man's head was cut off. His astral powers escaped. The formation was weakened as he died, and Tang Ruyan was able to gain speed. None of you can get out of this alive. Tang Ruyan declared. She wasn't a greenhouse flower. She would be training, fighting and killing when she was a kid growing up in the Tang family territory. She would never show mercy to the ones who tried invading their turf. We have tried our best. Another titled battle pet warrior of the Wang family died, with all hope lost. Tang Ruyan was too powerful. Those titled battle pet warriors were as feeble as if they were only 8th rank battle pet warriors. It might seem that it took Tang Ruyan a good while to unleash that slaughter, but the fact was that everything happened within less than a minute. Tang Ruyan looked forward. She had lost sight of the Wang family head. She wanted to run, but something else came to her mind. She turned around. To her relief, the Tang family's titled battle pet warriors had recovered their abilities and they were hunting down the enemies who were trying to get away. Whoosh! A man approached her. It was Tang Linzin. As she stared at that familiar and distant man, Tang Ruyan gave up on the thought of going after the Wang family head. The redness in her eyes receded. Her hair got back to normal and the black lines on her face faded away, revealing her original beauty. The father and the daughter pair gazed at each other, but neither said a word. Tang Linzin thought he should say something but couldn't decide to do so. It had just been half a year since they were last together. And yet, it seemed as if ages had passed. They were merely one step away from each other. They could touch each other. Still, he felt there was an invisible wall between them. Father. Tang Ruyan stared at the majestic man. She wondered if he would think of her as qualified after that. Soon, she noticed that there was shame in the eyes of a man who had always been dignified and superior. He was no longer that domineering man she used to know. For a moment, she was in a daze. Was he the man she remembered to be so overwhelming, that she would never dare to fight back? She kept silent. I am sorry. Eventually, Tang Linzin was the first to talk. But the words he uttered had surprised even himself. He had never said those words before in his life. Tang Ruyan gazed at him. A moment later, she breathed in relief but felt disappointed. She knew that some things could never go back. A repaired mirror would still have cracks. It's okay, Tang Ruyan said coldly. The family heads of the Sichua family and the Wang family have run away. Now that I am here, I will bring an end to this mess. I will go and wipe out their families first before we talk about anything else. Even she was unable to believe that she would speak with such indifference. She had never talked to her father like that. But she soon calmed down after saying those things. Tang Linzin was surprised. And this? Wiping out the 2 families? He couldn't quite describe the feeling he had. Was it fear, or astonishment? Ruyan, it was my choice to exile you. Don't hate the Tang family. He said. Tang Ruyan cut him off. I do not hate the Tang family and I do not hate you. If I did, I wouldn't have come here. She added, I don't think you ever knew me. Tang Linzin was unable to disagree. She was right. The fact that Tang Ruyan was there and that he was surprised was proof that he never knew his daughter. He felt even more sorry. After a while, he finally knew what to say. The Sichua family and the Wang family have powerful heirlooms. Striking them won't be easy. I know that they are losing at the moment, but the fight would become difficult if we were to strike their home bases. We need to give the matter further thought. Whoosh. Right then, several people joined them. They were the Tang family's elders and a girl, Tang Ruyu. Tang Ruyu looked at her big sister, who was addressing their father coldly. Tang Ruyan had unleashed strength far superior to what a peak-titled ranker could muster. Tang Ruyu found it unfathomable. However, The fact that Yuan had been able to kill so many titled battle pet warriors was enough reason for her name to be known all over the subcontinent district. Was that indeed the big sister who had been a decoy in the past? Yu bit her lip. She was unable to ascertain her feelings. My lady. My lady. The elders stood behind Linzan and gazed at Yuan with respect. Some of them even began to call her future family head again. Yu turned pale. She lowered her head and clenched her fists. That should be how they addressed her. But it seemed that she no longer was worthy for that, to contend for that name against Yuan. Yuan pulled an even longer face. I know that my surname is Tang, but I am not the future family head. I wasn't, I am not and never will be, Yuan said. The elders knew that Yuan was still bothered since they had decided against her. It was understandable. The elders just smiled at her without referring to that matter. Yuan was the hope for the Tang family. The Tang family could be regarded as the most powerful of the four ancient families with Yuan alone. Maybe in the future, the Tang family would even defeat the other three families and unify them. Chapter 561 The new family head. The remaining people cannot pose any threat to you. I will leave them to you. Yuan glanced over to the distance, where the battle pet warriors of the Sichua family and the Wang family were gathered. Some of them were fighting against each other. Some of them were trying to run away. No one had any desire to attack the Tang family. It would only be a matter of time before all of them were routed. Linzan asked in a hurry, what about you? I will go and deal with the Sichua family and Wang family. I'll cut off the loose ends. Now. Linzan tried to talk her out of it. That's too soon. I understand that you're powerful, but the two families still have a lot of remaining forces. They will be on guard against you on their home bases. We'll take care of this mess here and then discuss it. I'll send someone over with you, okay? No. I don't have time. I myself will suffice. No time? Linzan was surprised. What do you have to do? Yuan didn't answer. Miss, please listen to him. It is too dangerous for you. I agree. Please, let us talk about it. Those two families aren't easy. The elders were trying to stop her. Before they could finish talking, they heard a loud noise and felt the ground shake. A swirl appeared in front of Yuan and from it emerged a leg with fur as sharp as needles. The behemoth showed itself. It was a bloodthirsty, primitive beast with a pair of golden eyes. Linzan and the elders were struck dumb. A beast king? There was no doubt that it was a beast king. Those men stood stiff on the ground. The beast king was even more terrifying than the two that attacked them in the beginning. The terrifying aura of the beast king left them cold. They felt their lives could be drained at any minute. Whoosh! Yuan suddenly disappeared. A second later, they saw her on the beast king's shoulder. I'll be back soon, Yuan declared as she looked down at Linzan and the elders from a height. She saw Yu from the corner of her eye. She felt she caught a glimpse of a girl who had once been her small tail. She caught a glimpse of a girl that would brush against her indifferently. Time went by gradually. Time would change many things beyond all recognition. She said nothing. Even with her outstanding powers, she could not change the past and she couldn't dial back time. She could never go back to the time when that girl would always be awfully clingy when she was around. Farewell, she said to herself. Was she bidding farewell to those people? Was she saying goodbye to her childhood? Yuan was the only one who knew. Sister. Yu gazed at Yuan in a daze. The Beast King stirred up a gust of wind, blowing Yu's hair back. She would never forget what she was seeing right then. All of a sudden, Yu felt she had traveled back to her childhood. She would always be with her big sister. It was such a distant feeling that she had forgotten all about it. But she had just remembered it. It was a feeling of security. Her big sister would always be there to protect her. She remembered how her big sister would smile and how tender she was. Yu clenched her fingers with so much force that she didn't even know her palms were bleeding. Let's go, Yuan looked away and told the Beast King. Coldness had returned to her eyes. She pointed to a direction, the base city where the Wang family was located. Bang! That Beast King bent its limbs and dashed away. The ground shook, alerting people in the distance. With a leap, the Beast King ran across the battlefield. The countless battle pet warriors were startled by the massive shadow moving across the sky. Whoosh! A figure near Yuan. It was the little skeleton. Yuan was not surprised to see that the little skeleton would be able to catch up with her so soon. The coldness thawed on her face. Thank you. The little skeleton looked at her. The empty eye sockets gave the little skeleton quite a cute feeling. Yuan patted its skull and sat down. While the Beast King carried her forward, she took the chance to let her astral powers be restored. What? As the behemoth left, the Tang family elders were too stunned for words. Tang Ryuan has a Beast King? She has a Beast King as her own pet. If it weren't for the fact that they had watched her grow up, they would have never believed that the girl was Tang Ryuan. As the Beast King went away, somehow, Tang Linzen felt as if a burden had been taken off his shoulders. He was a dejected man. He had prided himself of never having made a mistake, ever since he became the family head. The Tang family's prosperity was a case in point. But Tang Ryuan had proved him wrong. Maybe the biggest mistake of his life was to underestimate his daughter. He turned around and looked at Tang Ryu. Tang Ryu happened to be gazing at Tang Linzen as well. She smiled at him, but it was a forced smile. Tang Linzen said nothing to her. "Sir, we need to clean this up," an elder reminded Tang Linzen. Tang Linzen came back to his senses. He gave one final look to the girl who was disappearing into the twilight and nodded. On the roof of a high building in the Tang family compound, some people were standing there. They lowered their telescopes. The last thing they saw was when the Beast King ran toward the base city where the Wang family was located. All of them saw the same kind of astonishment in each other's eyes. They could not believe the outcome of that night's fierce battle. They had thought that the Tang family would fall. The Tang family had still lost its edge after trying all sorts of means. And yet, the change of events at the break of the day had gone beyond anyone's imagination. "Have you notified our family?" "Yes." "Damn the Tang family. Look at that girl. Is that really the future family head of the Tang family?" "No. I heard otherwise from what I could pick up from part of their conversation. The Tang family sure is mysterious. That Tang Linzen is the most despicable man in the world. The Wang family is most likely doomed, and so is the Sichu family. Our Yugong family must be ready. Yes, both of them are doomed. And here I thought we would be the biggest benefactor. Let's go now." Dejected and disappointed, they left at once. After that fight, the Tang family would become famous. Tang Ryuan in particular would be the focus of many forces. Wufan Base City. 5 peaks in the city had been in existence since the beginning of time and had been well known in the world. The Wang family was located in the Wufan Base City. That was a class base city with the devices and strengths to fend off Beast Kings. A loud noise was rising outside the base city. Tang Ryuan was sitting on the Beast King. They had arrived. The gates were closed and weapons were readied on the city wall. They knew I was coming. Tang Ryuan squinted her eyes. That family head couldn't have arrived yet. She was riding on the Beast King, so she had to be faster than him. But he could call his family first. "Are you from the Tang family?" A titled battle pet warrior was speaking to her. Tang Ryuan stood up. "I am Tang Ryuan. I am here to wipe out the Wang family. I hope the government will stand aside. Don't blame me if you get yourselves hurt. Listen, better make friends than make enemies. We don't want to be on your bad side. Please leave." You should have told that to the Wang family. Now, are you getting out of the way or not? Tang Ryuan warned the man again. The man didn't say anything. The next second, all the weapons were fired. Laser beams were locked onto Tang Ryuan. Tang Ryuan didn't have time to react. Bang! The laser beams were dispelled. A figure was standing in front of her. It was the little skeleton. A puff of smoke emerged from the skeleton, but it remained unhurt. The little skeleton slowly raised its head, with 2 red dots in its eye sockets. Bang! The little skeleton was still standing in front of Tang Ryuan, but the weapons and cannons in the distance were either falling or being pushed away, leaving behind much dust over the city wall. The little skeleton began to vanish in front of Tang Ryuan. It had been an afterimage all along. Chapter 562 Unstoppable Boom. The city wall shook. Dust provided a cover to the little skeleton, who was running around wildly. Everywhere the little skeleton appeared, blood would spill out. The battle pet warriors who were trying to fight back would be ripped apart before they got a chance. What is that thing? Is that a Beast King? Come on. Get into formation. Stop it. People on the city wall ran around disorderly. The slaughter came down on them too unexpectedly, and there was no stopping it. Some battle pet warriors had not fully understood what was going on yet. They could not even see what was attacking them. But they didn't think it was a Beast King because they always were prominently large. All they could see, at the moment, was a white blur. The middle-rank battle pet warriors weren't even able to see that blur. What leapt to their sights was the destruction. That's a Beast King, a Super Beast King. A titled battle pet warrior poured his astral powers into his eyes so that he could catch a glimpse of that blur. To his surprise, he saw a skeleton. He was sure that no common skeleton had the strength to do all that. It had to be some sort of mutated thing. A titled battle pet warrior, the man that tried to persuade Tang Ryuan to leave, ordered, "Gather all the titled battle pet warriors. Let's stop it." That old man had gray hair and mustache. He was a majestic-looking elder at the peak of the titled rank. He was a well-known titled battle pet warrior. The other titled battle pet warriors quickly came back to their senses. They gathered around the titled battle pet warrior. At the moment, working together was the only method for them to stop that horrifying skeleton. It's so fast. Outside the base city, Ryuan stared at the little skeleton in a daze while she stood on the Beast King. The little skeleton was clearly the silent type. She had always thought that the skeleton was a cute little guy, maybe even a little bit silly. But it was too vicious in a fight. Wait. I'm coming. Ryuan was eager to try. She couldn't sit around and let the chance slip by since the little skeleton had taken the lead and was trying to breach into the enemy's defenses for her. Roar. The Beast King bellowed to the skies and the roar's power even made some ripples in the air. Boom. The Beast King pounced at the base city. Standing on that city wall, the old man at the peak of the titled rank was gathering the others to prepare the formation. Several titled battle pet warriors had answered his call. All of a sudden, he felt a gentle breeze brushing past his back. A thing came to him. The white skeleton still had many splatters of blood on its bones and remains had been stuck in its cracks, pieces of torn limbs, and things of the sort. It was quite appalling to the eyes. The titled battle pet warriors that were gathered around the old man were panic-stricken to see that skeleton had sneaked up on them. They kept their mouths ajar in terror but were unable to utter a single word. That skeleton had overpowered them. The temperature was dropping. The old man was about to say something when he noticed that look of terror on the faces of people standing in front of him. They were staring at him, or, to be exact, staring past his shoulders. He felt a chill running down his spine. He felt that something terrifying was staring at him from behind. He could not breathe. He rolled his eyes and thought about looking back. Bang! His head was crushed. On his neck appeared a skeleton's hand. The old man fell. His astral shields and the treasures he carried just glistened for 1 second before they broke into nothingness. The other titled battle pet warriors trembled as the headless corpse fell. The skeleton had killed a man at the peak of the titled rank. That was beyond comprehension. They trembled and shivered like innocent children who had never seen blood, instead of acting like seasoned titled battle pet warriors. Boom. The little skeleton had disappeared before they could gather their thoughts. Consequently, the little skeleton ran past 2 more titled battle pet warriors. In front of the 3rd titled battle pet warrior, the little skeleton extended its arm and used its finger bone as the blade to directly cut the man's head open. Brain matter was spilled out. Bloody. Cruel. The titled battle pet warriors that had just arrived turned around and ran away at once. Boom. The city wall trembled a second time. On the other side, a behemoth had just hopped onto the wall, stomping many titled battle pet warriors to death. The other battle pet warriors began to flee in panic. No one was thinking about guarding the city anymore. All that was left in their minds was fear. Dong, dong, dong. A strange noise was heard, like a drum beat. But it exerted a direct impact on people's hearts, messing up their heartbeats. All who abandon their posts shall be punished with death. Be prepared. Standing on a platform was an officer who was beating a drum. He yelled to the battle pet warriors. The casualties would only be greater if he allowed them to flee like that. He saw a ray of red sword light reaching him before he finished his command. In a hurry, the man raised his astral shield. 3 swirls opened up next to him, and 3 9th rank battle pets crawled out from them. Boom. The battle pets set up shields and armors to fend off that ray of sword light. Before that noise went away, the man saw a slim and breathtaking girl emerging behind that light, charging at him ferociously. Stop her. That titled battle pet warrior shouted. He had realized that he was in no condition to beat that girl at the moment he saw that ray of light, not to mention that she was riding a beast king. He didn't stand a chance. Ryuan snorted and stepped toward the man. Shadow tracing. Boom. Ryuan was then split into several different girls. The real Ryuan had snuck up behind him before the man was able to tell which one was the real her. She swung her sword and cut the man. From that cut, blood was being sucked out by the sword. As the man died, his 3 battle pets stopped their strikes as well. Some of the pets stood there in a daze. Soon, one of them with sharper senses picked up the horrifying feeling in Ryuan. It was startled, so it immediately decided to run off. The battle pet jumped down from the wall and disappeared into the wilderness. Finally, the other 2 battle pets came back to their senses. They hurried and ran into the wild as well. I'm only here to find the Wang family. Anyone who gets in my way will be killed. Ryuan stood in the air, holding the sword, and made her intentions clear. Everyone could hear her words clearly. The titled battle pet warriors that were running for their lives were forced to a stop. They wondered what had gotten into the head of their mayor. How come he had agreed to help the Wang family before he asked for information about that terrifying girl? He had placed the entire Wufeng-based city in a dangerous situation. No one would stand in Ryuan's way. The Beast King alone had frightened many titled battle pet warriors, not to mention that odd skeleton. Come on. Tang Ryuan summoned the Beast King that was still wreaking havoc. She stood on its head and asked the little skeleton to join her. The little skeleton received her command. It gazed into her eyes, stopped beating up those people, and rushed to her. Tang Ryuan was thrilled to see that the little skeleton had answered her call. While delighted, she told the Beast King to carry them to the Wang family territory right away. The Beast King hurried along the way inside the base city. Soon, Tang Ryuan had arrived. The Wang family's home base had been built on a mountain, one of the 5 peaks in the base city. The mountain rose to the sky and the buildings dotted the foot of the mountain, all the way to its top. Tang Ryuan thus commanded, "Break the mountain." The Beast King sprang to work. As the Beast King snarled, the ground began to tremble and so did the buildings in the area. The walls of the buildings cracked, revealing the steel bars inside. Chapter 563 Becoming Known. Boom. The ground suddenly arched upward in front of the Beast King. The street had also swung upward. When seen from a distance, people were able to see that the street and the buildings were tilting. It was because there was a stone column growing out of the ground. Roar. The Beast King bellowed and the stone column was discharged by the arched ground. The stone column collided with a huge peak. In front of the peak appeared a shield, which was just like the one outside the Tang family compound. The stone column bumped into it the moment the shield rose from the ground. The next second, the shield broke and the head of the stone column was also crushed. Rocks and boulders were rolling down to the foot of the mountain. Boom. The rest of the stone column spearheaded into the peak. Stop it. They're here. Whoosh. Whoosh. From the mountain emerged many people, all of them were titled battle pet warriors. From the swirls around them dashed out many battle pets of various types. The battle pet warriors launched a joint strike against the stone column, trying to break it before it struck the mountain. They're prepared. I don't see any kids nor women here. Tang Ryuan stood at the head of the Beast King, gazing at the mountain. While in the demon possession state, Tang Ryuan's red eyes gave her an enhanced sight. She could see the red images of people walking around in the building. The stronger her vision was, the redder the images would be. Judging from the people's height, she believed that they were all adults. It went without saying that the Wang family head must have notified his family and had secretly sent away some of the family members. Tang Ryuan would not bother herself about that. The Tang family would handle the rest. What she needed to do was to crush the Wang family's main force so that they would never be able to compete with the Tang family ever again. Tang Ryuan stole a glance at the little skeleton from the corner of her eye. Su Ping had told the little skeleton to protect her so that she could do whatever she wanted. As a matter of fact, if anyone wanted to strike back and target her, the little skeleton would make sure to quickly send them off to their deaths. Whoosh! She cannoned herself into her enemies. In the meantime, many people dashed out from the foot of the mountain. An ambush was waiting for her. All those people had prepared their battle pets to attack. The moment Tang Ryuan stepped into the attack range, bolts of lightning started to fall. An ambush. It worked. She was too confident. Nice. The Wang family's titled battle pet warriors were overjoyed as she stepped into the lightning bolts. Tang Ryuan is intimidating. So what? She's careless. She's too young and inexperienced. Bang. The lightning bolts disappeared. Something had slapped them into nothingness. Only some electric sparks were still roaming about. Tang Ryuan and a blood-covered skeleton emerged. The Wang family's titled battle pet warriors were panic-stricken when they saw that skeleton. They had learned from the government about that threatening skeleton when Tang Ryuan was striking the city wall. Is this the skeleton? The disappearance of the lightning bolts came too quickly. The Wang family's battle pet warriors were caught unprepared. The little skeleton had sprung into action. Su Ping's order to the little skeleton was that anyone or anything that meant to harm Tang Ryuan would have to be killed with no exception. The lightning bolts belonged to a formation that the Wang family's battle pet warriors built together. As such, all of those people would have to be eliminated. A surge of dark mist seeped out from the little skeleton, floating about in the air. While the little skeleton ran about, the dark mist gradually formed a huge door behind it. Demons were guarding the door and they were gazing at the mortal world that had no value of existence in their eyes. The sky darkened. Boom. The door opened, revealing a swirl with a strong pull. Something was brewing. A profound and fiendish demonic aura emerged. The next second, a ferocious beast riding an enormous skeleton charged out. That beast was like a werewolf that was over a dozen meters tall. The skeleton it rode on was over 30 meters in length. The beast carried a spear that didn't glow at all and carried many markings of past battles. Still, people sensed that the spear could upset space and time alike. Following the night was a team of strange and creepy undead creatures that formed an army. What the heck is that? No. Horrible things. Is that also a beast king? No, 2 beast kings are coming.